Tony Dunn. Ain't nothing to it but to do it, brother. Let's roll.
In a world where Carolina Panthers fans have an insatiable thirst for Panthers news and opinions, only one podcast roars ferociously. It's the C3 Panthers Podcast.
Hop in the car, fans. We're headed to OTAs. It's the C3 Panthers Podcast, brought to you by CarolinaCatChronicles.com, where every Tuesday night we chop up the latest Panthers news and opinions from the fan perspective. It's kind of the eerily quiet time of the season, and somehow this has been a very, very secretive, quiet OTAs, in my opinion. It's just very Neapolitan ice creamish, if you know what I mean, when it comes to our quarterback, Bryce Young. We've got that peek around the league. DJ Moore getting a lot of pub in Chicago. Hey, smash the thumbs up button. Get in the show. The number's 252-228-5098. Rock with my wheel man, Cody Lashney. How you doing?
Tony Dunn, you know how I'm doing. It's a Tuesday night, and I'm here with the boys, man. Listen, we've had a bunch of news. OTAs has been going on. We've heard more from Bryce Young, more from Frank Reich, more from a rare Matt Corral. You know I'm happy, man. Let's talk about Matt Corral some more, even though nobody else wants to, baby. Yeah, I'm pumped. We're going to talk about a little bit of everything, about the draft potentially being in Charlotte. I have a bold statement for a player that I do not think is going to be on the roster by the time game one against Atlanta comes up. So all of that and so much more. But, Tony, you know what we're going to do? We're going to do this podcast with the best damn Panther fans in all of YouTube. You already know him and love him. It's our guy, Drew. What's up, Drew? C3D's Ill Skills, our brand ambassador. What's up, brother? Eric. We got Hemlock. Kristen Delane in the building. Leon Murray. Poppin'. Underground West. White Chocolate Espresso. Tony Dunn. Ain't nothing to it but to do it, brother. Let's roll.
For some reason, I don't think he's being shy about the player he doesn't think that's going to make the team. I bet you he's talking about that Harry Henderson of a beard you got there. Greg, the Bat Daddy, how you doing, my friend? Welcome back to the C3 Panthers Podcast.
I'm doing fantastic, man. This is my playoff beard. I started last year. Remember, at the beginning of the season, I said I'm going to grow my beard till we win a playoff game. So here we go. This is what it is. Check it out, man. I had a week off. I took a week off from social media, kind of. I checked a little here and there. Podcasting. I just kind of disconnected from digital world for a little while, and it was great. I'm back. Chickens are fed. Goats are fed. Dogs, bunchies, pig, kids. They're all fed, tucked in, ready to go. I'm here to talk Panthers football.
CK, Big Papa in the house. How you doing?
Man, I'm just happy to be here. I am in a brand new room, so I can be loud again. I haven't been able to be loud for a couple of weeks, and I'm happy to be back, man. It's I missed you guys last week, rather, and just glad to be able to hang out with you guys again this fantastic Tuesday evening.
Well, why don't you use those big, loud golden pipes and ask them to become C3 superfans?
Wait, you want me to ask them to become C3 superfans?
Yeah, that's just $1.99 a month. All they got to do is hit that little button called join.
I demand that every person in the chat, that's a little bit aggressive. If you would like, please hit that subscribe and join button and become a C3 superfan for $1.99. Now, back to the show.
The number's 252-228-5098. That's 252-228-5098. Getting the C3 Army, man. The C3 Army is growing on Twitter each and every day. What I want to start doing, guys, is we need to start putting together a list.
All right, got one.
We need the C3. If you're part of the C3 Army, we got somebody make a list for us. And what I want to do is we can make a Twitter list and we put it all together. Have you guys ever do you use Twitter lists at all? They're great. Like I have one for NFL reporters. So and then you can just click over to it. We can even buzz that through straight on the front page of the website. So
Yeah.
Let's
I already,
make
I
the
already
list.
have one. I already have one going. I'm going to continue to add to it. Lots of people putting that C3 in their username, man. We feel the love. We feel the love. And then you know what? We also have someone who loves to give the love.
Uh-oh.
And that's just don't care because he just gifted 5 new memberships in the chat. Just don't care. You are the homie. We appreciate you, brother. Every single time you're appreciated, man.
Let's jump into the show because, or if not, we'll probably end up debating what you put on corn, which was what we were debating before.
Yeah, how did it get there?
Yeah, and OTAs in the house. OTAs in the house. And that means organized team activities, right? For a long time, I thought it meant off-season team activities.
Right.
Organized team activities. The team organize it. The players show up voluntarily. But it's one of those things where it's not voluntary. We demand it of you, much like CK tried to demand the superfan earlier. It's like this. We shame them. We're like, why aren't they here? Joe Person goes, hey, I ain't seen this person. We've got some injury news, surgery news coming up. But the star of the show, the belle of the ball, the man, the little elf on the shelf with his red shirt, 10 out of 10, boy. I mean, you walk into a room that's full of 10s and he's a 12. Number 9, Bryce Young in the house, taking team reps with the number 1.
Yeah, so a lot of news coming out of OTAs, some interesting news. Obviously, we're going to start where we always do nowadays. We're going to start with Bryce Young. And Bryce Young, in a very short amount of time, through rookie minicamp and Panthers OTAs, has really lived up to the billing of the most prepared rookie quarterback in the entire draft. Frank Reichman, speaking about him, says he's a 10 out of 10. Just complete command, control, poise. You could tell the way he was seeing it, the way he was working through progressions, accuracy in the throw. So our head coach is already ranting and raving about one Bryce Young and what he's been able to do with his attention to detail. So much so that fellow first string quarterback, Andy Dalton, he went up to the podium at his press conference and said that Bryce Young noticed that one of the plays on the script today was written up wrong. It was incorrect. He was already able to point it out and then point it out to the staff and have them put the right verbiage connected to it. So Bryce Young is carrying himself in a manner that he was billed as this ultra prepared quarterback that's ready to hit the ground running and be the Luke Kuechly of the Carolina Panthers offense. And the final bit of news around Bryce is that even though him and Andy Dalton were splitting first team reps, Bryce Young got the majority of those first team reps. So what are we making so far of Bryce Young and all of the news about this wonderkin mind of a football player?
Well, I tell you one thing is he's so small, he fits perfectly in the slide right there. Look, he's standing right
Very
on the
easy to fit him
Panther.
in, yeah.
It is fitting perfectly right there. Who got it wrong on the script? That's what I want to know. Who the hell wrote it down wrong? We need to
Did they do it on
know.
purpose?
He said it was a tag that was just, it was like almost like mislabeled is kind of what I gathered. But that's even more impressive because it tells me that he's, again, paying attention to every detail of the playbook and the script that they're planning on putting out there. So I don't think it was a big deal. I think that there was let me rephrase. I don't think that the mistake was a big deal. I think it was very impressive that he was able to catch it based on the way that they describe what it was. And this is minute things. This is stuff that's not going to, necessarily translate to the football field. But if one of the things we're talking about this guy being is cerebral and he's catching this on his third week working with the team, I think that's something that's worth getting excited about.
No. Okay. I don't want to say that I'm not impressed at all, but to be truly honest with you, this is what I was sold. So, and there's another thing goes along with it. This is not playing the game of football. Okay. This
Greg,
is
what? Greg,
I'm telling
Greg,
you. Listen,
Greg.
listen. I'm not saying
Wet
that I
towel.
don't think. No, you're right. I'm not saying that I don't think he can be good, but I want to see it in a game. You cannot tell me they are playing as hard in practice as they play in a game.
can't, yeah.
Period. I'm sorry. It's great that he's doing well. And that's awesome. I expect him to do well. He's the damn #1 draft pick. I expect him to do well.
Greg,
but I'm
Greg,
still
Greg.
waiting for my judgment until I see him do it in a game.
So
Period.
Greg, I added this next one for you. In fact, a lot of people saw this and ran with it. Bryce Young threw a deep ball for
That's a
Adam
good tweet right
Thielen,
here.
and the pass was tipped by Jeremy Chin, prompting a bunch of people to sarcastically point out, but his passes weren't tipped in the SEC. Do you? I
That's
mean,
a good tweet.
Well,
It's a good tweet. It's short, sweet. It's in quote. Like, I love this. CJ
and from a
Henderson.
Texan fan.
Yeah.
I look at it like this, like, okay, see, and this is what's tough. This is what's so difficult about what I just said before and this right here, because I'm not saying that what he did doesn't look good. Okay, so I may have misspoken when I said I'm not impressed. I guess what I mean is this is what I expect of him, and I'm waiting for a game. With this situation right here where they're talking about his pass got tipped, the way I'm going to look at that is, one, he's not going to throw every pass perfect no matter who he is. So I get that. Two, I'm going to look at it as Jeremy Chin playing really good defense on a good
Amen.
ball.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it.
And the other part is people are reading this and they're hearing tip passes and we're thinking, oh my God, it's because he's short and he got tipped at the line. This was a deep ball and he tipped it away from the receiver at the point of the, at the point of the reception, right? That's the impressive part about what Jeremy Chin did. This isn't a knock on what, Bryce Young has done or that throw. And even with regard to his height, there hasn't been a single height issue that they've talked about. People are grasping onto this because they hear tipped ball and they think Baker Mayfield last year. That's just not the case.
Right.
Or they're just being fun, having fun and poking fun with it.
Oh, they are.
Because everybody's like, well, the SEC, I mean, that's the same as the NFL. I mean, it's the same. It's the same. Alabama's the same. Greg, you're the kid in class that gets mad because the other kid did all their homework.
No.
You're over there going, you're like, man, why you gotta ask the questions, asking the questions of the teacher all the time?
Because I did all my homework.
Yeah, and then you're like, well, that's fine. But you're sitting over there, you're like, this kid will never show. Bryce, we got it. Everybody knows it was an
teacher's
accident.
pet.
I'll pull the tape right now. I'll pull the tape. Baker Mayfield in OTAs or in training camp and all that stuff. I'll pull the tape for Matt Corral. I'll pull the tape for Derek Anderson. I'll pull the tape for Will Greer. All that stuff that we talked about. How great they looked. Does it transfer to a game? That's all I'm worried about right now. That's why I'm saying I'm holding my judgment until I see it in a game. And I think he can. I just haven't seen it yet. So I'm not gonna bet on it because I haven't seen it yet.
RELAX. It's hard to when you take your truck to get your oil change.
Oh my God!
It's hard to relax. All right, so Bryce Young, the belle of the ball. The belle of the ball here is that
the belle of the ball.
There's nothing that surprises any of us on any of this, or at least for me, it doesn't surprise me. And what doesn't surprise me is that he's taking reps with all the ones. It does not surprise me that Andy Dalton is there to mentor him. He will be starting from day one, right? All of this makes sense. I guess really what stands out to me a little is Frank Reich is like a really he might be too nice. He's like a super nice coach. Yeah, like player friendly. Like he's like 10 out of 10. I mean, he's just good. Like he does, as he said. Well, and maybe this is the time of year when you need to be positive. I always feel like I used to hear like Robert be like, "We got a lot of work to do. Maybe mistakes."
Yeah.
I mean, well, even with Matt Rule, you were all like, "Mistakes. We can't practice." You know, I mean, he talked shit about everybody. Frank Reich is like, man, he's like, we ain't putting the ball on the ground. Nobody's hurt. 10 out of 10 for my new quarterback. I mean, he should say those things, I would think, but he is Mr. Nice Guy.
Right.
Well, but also, what if it's the fact that he's running a much tighter ship than Matt Rule ever did? And you even heard reporters saying, even during rookie minicamp, that it just seemed like everything was ran so smooth and to the point, and by coaches that actually knew what they were doing, and they were really hands on. And it just seemed like there was a new energy that was like pervasive throughout the building. And us Panther fans have been so optimistic this season because of what they've done in free agency and the draft, and moving up to #1 and everything that we've done, the brand new coaching staff. I wonder if that same kind of enthusiasm is also rife throughout the organization and on the team right now. I mean, you have Frank Reich for the first time getting a look at all of his players on the field. He mentioned how much of a stud Brian Burns was, how much of a good leader he is. Maybe this is just Frank Reich also being impressed with the young talent that he has on the football field.
Where he's the epitome of a player's coach. I mean, he was. I mean, literally, he was a player, and now he's a coach.
Like Sideshow says.
It's kind of ideal, right?
I mean, the other part is like right now, I think we've seen a lot of players get the, he's going to have to earn. He's going to have to do this. He's also said that. He hasn't said that he's coming here and he's earned that starting position yet either. Right. So, I mean, I think that him being 10 out of 10 and also not being the starter, I think that's enough of the kind of the back and forth that you're talking about, having some, I wouldn't say negative, but maybe some, kind of backstepping a little bit on that. The other part of it is maybe he's doing everything great.
He's experienced.
Right.
Oh, what?
Maybe,
Bryce Young or
Yeah.
Frank Reich?
Maybe Bryce Young is doing everything the way that he's supposed to be doing
Oh,
it.
sure,
Like,
sure. Yeah, I mean, it's okay to compliment. I'm just saying Frank Reich in general seems like, and I'm not just saying only about Bryce. I'm talking about everything. It's like, it's like, but one of the things maybe when you talk about the smoothness and the clarity of the the organization of the practice first is, man, he's only been doing it for 45 years, right? Been in 900 different training camps and OTAs under so many different regimes. So he's experienced there. But, is that because he was a player, I think he understands, I think that's experience. Oh, I was going to make the analogy of this is, if you ever been with a carpenter, it's like one thing to be with a young guy who can work real hard and can run around and do everything. And he's just got so much. He'll be like, oh, I'll outwork you. And then you're with a master carpenter and they don't have to move as fast. There's no wasted cuts. There's no wasted materials. You get at the end of it. I've worked with some guys that have been doing carpentry forever. And it's like, man, they could cut a piece of plot, like a sheet of drywall with their eyes closed and have the straightest line.
Yeah.
So that might be what Frank Reich is just the master carpenter of running a team.
Well, doesn't he slightly undercut his own statements though? Whenever okay, I know we all know Bryce Young's going to be the starter.
Here we go,
okay?
Greg.
I'm just saying. And then he says, well, it's Andy Dalton's job until Bryce Young comes in. And then he says, well, Bryce Young's a 10 out of 10. So are you telling me that Andy Dalton is better than a 10 out of 10 right now?
No, that's not what he said. He said he said that today on yesterday, the first day of OTAs, everything he did was a 10 out of 10. He didn't say that he is a 10 out of 10.
Okay.
He said everything he did that day was
because then he undersold him. He's a 12 out of 10.
Okay.
So I think that part is, if you take that into consideration and realize, he's just talking about that day. That's not a okay. Let's be clear, he hasn't crowned the guy to be the starter yet, like Greg's talking about. So I think there's still room to grow. If he was coming in here and absolutely just destroying everything, I think it would be hard for him to continue to say that Andy Dalton's the starter. I think they're just doing that out of an abundance of caution, not only for the team, but for Bryce Young as well. I mean, you don't want to throw too much at this kid out of the gate. And if you can take a little bit of pressure off of him and say, hey, listen, you're going to be getting a lot of the starters rep, but we're not putting you as the starter yet. You don't have that pressure on you. You don't have to come in here and expect to be the guy throwing a dime to every single wide receiver, because, nobody's going to expect that right now. You're still learning a lot.
This comment's great. Sideshow said he's 5'10".
5'10", yeah, that's right.
That's what I meant.
So, question: if Frank Reich, let's just hypothetically does not start Bryce Young, game 1, first snap this season, are we looking at Frank Reich as the quarterback guru who knows what the hell he's doing, or a dumbass for drafting a quarterback and not
Well,
starting?
we'll have to see what Bryce Young turns out to be.
Okay.
You know,
He's gonna start. I bet.
Well, and you know who else agrees with you, CK? Andy Dalton himself. And Andy Dalton, Greg, if you want to talk about Frank Reich being complimentary, Andy Dalton is somebody else that has chimed in on that chorus, and he basically took the back seat. He said, "Yeah, I know that this is going to be Bryce Young's spot at one point in time, and he's fully aware that at a certain point this is going to be his team." And he also said that from everything that he has seen, it's clear why he was the number 1 pick in the draft. So, I mean, if you want to say that this is all just people that are on his team that are just, patting Bryce on the back, hey, that's one thing. You're entitled to that opinion. Right. But it does seem like everyone has a very good opinion.
Or he should be. Yeah, we should all feel this way. He's the number 1 pick. Of course he's going to be. All right. So, Frank Reich, Mr. Nice Guy, come on the show and tell us how awesome we are. Come on. You can't say no now. We've deemed you Mr. Nice Guy, Frank Reich. Come on the C3 Panthers podcast. What's up next is, talk about quarterbacks. Talk about favorite quarterbacks out of the SEC. Here comes Cody Lashley's favorite quarterback out of the SEC.
My favorite segment time, baby. Let's do some Matt Corral talk. So Matt Corral was also up to the podium, and they decided to ask my boy Matt some questions. Now, we all remember that he put out this thing about not being where God wants you to be or whatever. They asked him about it. He said that it had nothing to do with football, that it was a personal nature. It was of a personal nature, but some very interesting things happened at the press conference. One, Matt Corral said if it was up to him, he doesn't want to be traded, and he is excited about playing for Frank Reich. And this is something that, a lot of us had been wondering what they do intend to do with Matt Corral. And another interesting tidbit that was dropped by Frank Reich is that the Panthers cut Jacob Eason, and they did it with the intention in mind of getting Matt Corral more snaps. And man, it really does seem like this is an organization that does want to see what they have in Matt Corral. Yeah. So my question to the three of you is, are they going to, as we are predicting that they're going to let Bryce Young have every opportunity to win the number 1 quarterback spot, what's the likelihood that Matt Corral could actually win out the quarterback number 2 spot? Or do you think that there is an effort underway to show off Matt Corral in the preseason, which Frank Reich did say that they want Matt Corral to have a bunch of snaps in the preseason? And are they trying to inflate his trade value to get some other team to give them some draft capital?
Yes, that's exactly what they're going to do. And that's exactly what they should do. And that's what Matt Corral has to hope happens, is that he goes out there and balls out in the preseason, and the Carolina Panthers find a way to move him around, or at the very minimum, create the mystique that was at once Jimmy Garoppolo.
Unless, of course, Matt Corral has the same belief that Greg does, that Bryce Young is going to have durability concerns.
He said he wants to be a Panther. Okay, here's my question. What do you get for Matt Corral? Let's say Matt Corral goes out in the preseason and balls out and is the best looking quarterback in the preseason. What do you get for him?
That's what I'm saying. And that's why I don't want to trade him.
Honestly,
you're not
maybe at most a 6th round pick. At most. I mean, who would offer more than that? I don't know.
Why get rid of him then?
You would have to have an incredible preseason in order for that to be a real possibility. And also there is now a new rule that you're allowed to hold up to up to 3 quarterbacks. Every team is allowed to have 3 quarterbacks suited up and ready to play football games because of the injuries to quarterbacks last year. So with all those things together, you have a young guy on a rookie contract, now has a chip on his shoulder. We played 4 quarterbacks last year. So why wouldn't you keep Matt Corral on the team as, an asset in case something happens to your starters?
Well,
Yeah,
you're
I agree,
definitely
'cause
not
you won't
getting
get much
rid
out
of,
of him. Yeah,
but
sorry,
you're
go
not
ahead.
getting rid of the other, the red rifle
No,
For
no,
right
no.
under
now.
any
No.
circumstances. Like, there's no way Matt Corral is on this team instead of the red rifle.
No, but if
Like,
you've
they
already
both might be on the team, but not.
Right.
right, but if you're already paying him the rookie quarterback contract right now because he's still on that, like why not keep him? Because look at
Well-
it doesn't happen often, but look at the situation last year with San Fran, where you're
You
looking at putting
also-
Christian McCaffrey in as quarterback.
You have to take into consideration the new rule as well. Did you guys? I mean, I don't want to over.
He alluded to it. No, alluded to it. Go ahead and try to explain this.
So basically, right now, there was a rule that was agreed upon by by a vote within the NFL owners committees or whatever you call them. Basically, allowing you to keep a third quarterback on the roster and active on game day, and not have it count against your normal roster count. Like basically,
So I don't know how that works though, CK. And the reason I asked that is because when you have, unless they've changed this rule, you do keep a 53-man roster, but you only dress like 50 each week, right?
You have 5 inactives out of each game normally. I think essentially what this is saying is if one of those inactives would normally be a quarterback, then you would only need 4 inactives. And
so he still counts towards the roster, but just
but not the game day
roster.
actives.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. That's what my understanding is. Again, if anybody in chat, recalls that being a different explanation, that's what I'm gathering. Which is why this is such a big deal for Matt Corral.
Then you don't have to put him on the practice squad.
Well, yeah, you don't have to put him on the practice squad. He's on that rookie contract, and it's not going to count against your ability to have the depth at most every other position that you want. You don't want to have another situation like San Fran had, right? Like Greg talked about, because that was absolutely god awful. That was one of the worst games I've ever seen. And quite honestly, I'm not sure that the Eagles would have beaten, based on the way that I saw them playing early in that game, I'm not sure they would have beaten the 49ers had they not had that happen with their quarterback.
So what we need to happen then is Bryce Young at some point to miss one game because of something, like whatever, nicked up, something like that, sickness, illness,
right?
Illness. And then Dalton get banged up in that game a little bit. And then Matt Corral come in and throw 4 touchdowns. And then he will be what's his name? Matt Flynn. Remember he of Green Bay, Green Bay. Now he went on as a free agent and signed a giant ass deal with Seattle. That was the year Russell Wilson was drafted, and they paid him a bunch of money. And then Russell Wilson ended up winning the job.
And the kind of the Nick Foles.
I think it was something Flynn.
Yeah,
but
Matt Flynn.
That's kind of what happened with Garoppolo a little bit. Is he came in for a couple of games stretch and was really good, and then Brady came back and it was fine. He was fine, so we don't want anything bad really to happen to our number one. But then we can trade him away next year for like a number 2.
However, Garoppolo ended up being pretty successful. That's kind of the difference. Flynn,
you know what? The
Garoppolo
Patriots still made the right decision.
Successful.
Well, but even like, could you imagine a quarterback controversy in Carolina where you have some scenario where Matt Corral ends up seeing the field and then balls the fuck out? I mean, hey, you're the one putting out the what if scenarios.
It's not a controversy, though. I'm just
postulating
saying, we're brewing up value in the year. That's what I'm saying.
I like the idea of having him on simply for the fact that he's been with the team, and I don't hate the guy. I'm not against him, but it's just he has 2 better players in front of him right now.
How do you think he interviews, Cody?
Who, Matt Corral?
Yeah. What'd you think of the interview?
I've only ever heard him give 2 interviews, that one and then one before last training camp.
I almost
And
want to listen to it.
I always felt that he carried himself very well. He was very open and honest about I have to control the things that I can control.
Yeah.
And that there are some things that he'll have no say so over. But
He
he's
said
never
last year was
shied away
tough.
from.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Last year
did.
was tough for him, and I'm kind of curious what was the tough part about it. I mean, was it the injury? Was it being a rookie and the
Oh,
turmoil?
Tony, it was probably knowing that if he hadn't gotten injured at that point in time, they put
He
PJ
would have
Walker
actually
in.
played like 7 games.
That would have been
probably.
him. That would have been
Yeah.
his job. And we might have had a 7-game sample set of
Yeah.
what Matt Corral could be for the Carolina Panthers last year.
You might not have
And,
Bryce
for,
Young right now.
and the fact that he missed out on all that time, then it makes it so easy for
He's
the
just
Panthers
watching.
to go,
Yeah.
we have to go up to number 1 to get a quarterback, because even if we think that Matt Corral has some modicum of talent, we haven't seen enough of him
He
healthy
still
to
would
make
have.
that bet.
He still, no matter how good he played, he still would have. We still would have done what we did, probably.
That depends.
There's
If we
no
made- if
way
we
he
made
could
the
have played good
playoffs-
enough because.
No, I
what
think-
if-
no, you
what,
put Matt
Wilkes would be
Corral-
our coach. We would be rocking with Matt Corral.
No, I'm saying if you saw more of Matt Corral than Desmond Ridder did last year for the Falcons, who's currently tapped to be their day 1 starter, then it's not as insane to take a different quarterback position.
No, I'll
They
go
also
and tell
don't
you
have
right
a
now.
new coach, though.
Look, if they put if Matt Corral's healthy and they put him in when we pull Baker Mayfield and Matt Corral ends up having the season we have and beats Tampa Bay that last game we made the playoffs, Matt Corral's my guy. I don't want a quarterback out of that, but that didn't happen.
All right.
Not his fault, but it didn't happen.
Look at this. Greg's so wet blanket. He'd rather
I
have
am.
Matt Corral than
I'm
Bryce
sorry.
Young.
I'm a realistic guy. I can't help it. I don't. I have to look at the actual things that are in front of me as opposed to what possibly. I want to be hopeful. Like I said, I really think Bryce Young can do it. I hope he can do it, but I still need to see it before I am. All right, this was right.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's the right pick. A lot of people are right on. He's right. He's there. He's the guy. You don't know that yet.
So
Let's wait and see.
okay,
You're
but
not
let's talk
wrong
about
to
some
think
things
that.
that have actually happened in the world. I got one of those daily calendars, for Christmas, and I have not peeled it back. It's a Carolina Panthers one. I've not peeled it back since April 8th.
Oh.
D'Angelo Williams ranks number 2 on the Panthers all-time rushing list with 6,846 yards. That's a fun fact. And just do a couple of these and then we'll move on. What undrafted defensive end from Troy posted 55 sacks over 8 seasons with the Panthers beginning in 2012? Oh,
Defensive end.
yeah. Undrafted defensive end from Troy. Who the fuck would that have been? 2012.
Oh.
We would have had Charles Johnson, and who was on the? We would have had Greg Hardy in his 2nd year. Who else did we have? 2012. Luke Kuechly's rookie year. Who the hell is that? Interesting. Haynes. Marquise Haynes? No way. He's on the team right now, isn't he?
Calendar don't lie.
Let's see. I'm not gonna. Do you guys want me to look?
Yeah.
Do it.
Oh wait, the calendar didn't say it. Oh.
Oh man,
Yeah.
it's the other. It's the first Marquise Haynes, Mario Addison.
Ah.
That's the last Marquise Haynes. All right. Fun
Toby
fact:
Griffin picked it up.
when Christian McCaffrey caught 116 passes in 2019, he not only set a club single season record, but he also posted the most receptions by a running back in NFL history. And last trivia question, we'll move on. What player forced 3 fumbles to lead the Panthers in that category in 2020? Oh, I know this one.
Jeremy Chin.
Jeremy Chin. And the answer is Brian Burns.
Oh, really?
That's what it says. I thought it was Jeremy Chin too, so I didn't know it. All right, what do we got next? Matt Corral, starting quarterback of the Carolina Panthers. Brian Burns, 3 forced fumble. What's next?
Next up, Charlotte, North Carolina could be home to the NFL draft. It was revealed that NFL officials were in Charlotte on May the 4th to hear a pitch from city leaders about hosting a draft. A spokesman for Charlotte Sports Foundation confirmed Joe Bruno was the first on the visit. So, what do we think, man?
I think
Charlotte.
people would love it.
Oh, dude, I would.
I
be
mean,
over the
our
moon.
fan base would love it, but I think people from other places would love it.
Yeah.
Like having but having this the stadium right in the city, you know, is such a perk for doing things like this right here, right? Because look, we had Kev White Chocolate Espresso went there, and you know, man, they go out there. You're out there at the draft. It takes a lot of energy out of you. You're spending $12, $16 a beer, or whatever it is. You see your pick, and what do you want to do? Go eat in a restaurant right down there. You know what I'm saying? Go to a couple of bars downtown, like, or uptown, should I say? I think this is like it's the perfect environment for. I mean, and Nashville's another one. You know what I mean? The stadium is right freaking there. Across the river, and I mean, I think I'm pretty sure it's across the water, but it's like you can walk, literally almost walk there from whatever that strip is. I think Charlotte would be a fantastic place for things exactly like this because you're not spending all your time in the stadium. Imagine doing this like in Dallas, and you got to drive like 2 hours out of the way to get to the. I mean, they might not always do it at the stadium.
Yeah, I love this idea because I love Charlotte. Like, if there's any big city I'm going to, it's Charlotte. I absolutely love being there. I find it interesting though. May the 4th, they did this. Is that like a new hope they're trying to invoke amongst Carolina fans?
I'll Charlotte, May 4th. Yeah, the 4th.
Yeah, I'll see myself.
May the 4th be with them in landing.
And the new hope. Yeah, somebody got that. Somebody in the chat room got that. But yeah. No, I like it. I think that Charlotte's good. I think that Tepper wants to put Charlotte on the map. I think that he wants to have a stadium that a Super Bowl could be hosted in. I think that he wants to have these big events there. And I think Charlotte's a perfect city for that kind of thing. Uptown Charlotte is such a fun place to be.
It's clean, it's safe.
Exactly.
It's
so clean. That's what I love about it. It's so clean.
Sorry. You know, it's a great, I mean, it would be great for this. Because I'm thinking of just the time that's away from the draft that's still part of the weekend of like you don't have to go to a hotel that's 10 hours away. It feels like I just feel like it would be very convenient.
And there's a lot of big surrounding cities too.
Can't do this next slide without Cody.
But I was gonna say there's a lot of big surrounding cities in Charlotte. I mean, you can it's a perfect location to be the next like big hub with places like big cities that are somewhat falling off the map right now, or maybe not being so desirable places to go be or visit. Charlotte is a really, really nice area to come check out. So I think they could do it. They could make Charlotte not a small market, and that would change the dynamics of every sports team in the area.
This is not a good fact, I don't think, for the Carolina Panthers, which is, this is actually surprised me. Maybe it surprised you. The Panthers, who did not play a regular season overtime game in 2020, entered 2021 with an all-time record of 5-10-1 in overtime games. Regular season overtime, our record's 5-10-1. Not too great for us winning a few overtime games that I feel like I remember. All right, let's see this one here. What wide receiver from Ohio State amassed 4,023 combined net yards, rushing, receiving, and returns for the Panthers over just 3 seasons, 2013, 2015, 2016. That's an easy one.
Wide receiver,
speedster,
from Ohio State,
stone hands. Ted Ginn.
Ted Ginn was from Miami, wasn't he?
No, he was Ohio State.
He was Ohio State. Okay, I thought Ted Ginn, but I thought he's from Miami. I wasn't sure. So, okay.
All right. What else? Did you guys hear anything else when it go? While we wait on Cody, we'll go. Let me see if I can jump to. Let's see what this one is. Nope. Jumping ahead. Oh, we'll talk about this. And this is going to be the play. Oh, he's back. He's back. He's back. We were just going to jump to another topic because I needed you for the Rihanna talk.
Well, let's do it. And let's
All
talk
right,
about
we'll go back to Rihanna then.
okay.
This so what happened is Panther fans kind of talking about this on Twitter. And I couldn't figure out, like, it was hard for me to see this picture at the time. I think it was outside, the glare or something on this. This got more in depth than I thought. When I didn't understand that this was a dress. I didn't see that. It's pretty wild right here. Rihanna, in this big fashion forward statement, Malayan Senegalese designer Lamine Baidan Kouyate, I don't know.
Good try.
Is got this dress that she made out of a couple of, it says a D'Angelo Williams jersey, a Kerry Collins jersey, and a Derek Brown jersey put together. Or
But
Charles
it's
Johnson
not. It's not. It's not.
Or was it
Yeah,
Charles
it might
Johnson?
be Johnson
It might be
because
Charles Johnson. Yeah.
if you
the
look,
old
the
jersey.
Panther.
Dick,
So
racist,
look,
dick.
It's the old
look,
jersey.
look.
Yeah.
check this. If you notice the Panther on her sleeve, it's a throwback Panther.
Yeah.
Like it's the old style Panther. So
I think it's Charles Johnson. Yeah.
yeah, probably Charles Johnson.
If that's Charles Johnson, what's the symbolism?
By the way, it just
Maybe
says
she's
Panthers.
a Panthers fan.
It just says Panthers on
No,
the back.
the
No, that's
dress
the
designer.
thing. Like
The dress designer, the numbers of the players don't matter. It's just the
No,
sewing
not
together
at
the
all.
three jerseys. Okay, it would be cool if there was a statement like, so Big Johnson, big money, broken jaw. Like, we got put together and we could put these three numbers and dickhead
second.
wrestler.
Yeah.
Daryl 88 says it reps the 95 inaugural season.
But Charles
Okay.
Johnson wasn't
The year
there.
the team started.
Well,
Well,
I mean, there was
95.
95.
Oh, I
and
get
who
it. It
won
didn't even-
34.
it didn't even say Charles Johnson on the back. It
Okay.
just said Panthers on
You're
the
right.
back.
Okay.
But
95.
look, I mean,
I
listen,
thought the
I
picture
don't
on the
think-
right. I thought the picture on the right was somebody that actually wore this like a long time ago, and then the picture on the left was them recreating it. I don't think so. I think it's just black and white version of the same person.
Well, I think someone
Maybe.
used this as a fashion show. Whatever name you read, they saw the black and blue together and liked them, and then stitched together. One, the dress is ugly as fuck. Let's just be real, right? Rihanna is beautiful, always is.
Is she
But
pregnant?
the dress, yeah, she's pregnant with her.
She was pregnant in the at the Super Bowl.
Okay.
But by the way, to me, this doesn't mean that Rihanna is a fan of the Panthers. You know what I mean? Like, she's just-
no.
No,
This
she was wearing a-
designer.
yeah,
let me
this
think what I
exactly,
want to think.
dude.
Rihanna's a fan of the Panthers. I'll take that.
Yeah, no,
Let
you're
me
right.
think that.
Don't take this
wanna
away
know-
from us.
Don't take it away from me. Exactly.
No, you're right. My fault. My fault.
I want to know more about this Zuli Bet clothing line here and what they're trying to do. Is that you always think about this because she's from Senegal, and you ever wonder what they do with all those, like what they did with the hats that the Carolina Panthers that said Panthers 2015 Super Bowl champions?
Oh,
Some are
yeah.
Like,
different patterns,
like
don't they?
there's the running joke somewhere that there is like some poor Indian kid
Yeah, wearing a Panthers Super
wearing
Bowl
like
fucking-
like whoever the loser was of the Super Bowl.
I don't think it's a running joke. I think that's actually a real thing.
Yeah,
I think
they
it's real,
really,
too.
yeah, they
Yeah.
I
do.
feel like we
that.
would see more pictures of that on Reddit if that was the case.
Maybe.
And is
I don't know.
this clothing line? What if the Zuli Bets clothes? What if that would be? You know how retro clothes are in? Like we got these shops now, and or isn't that we call old like and it'll be like they're like old. What's the one? The alligator. My mom used to always make me wear the jacket that had the alligator on it. What's the name? brand?
Polo.
No,
No,
not
polo is a
polo.
guy on a horse playing polo.
Yeah.
The crocodile one, alligator is somebody in the chat will get it. It's like this is a name brand from the 80s. So
like
now
Wedding
That
Members only
shows you how
jacket,
well I
yeah.
know my preppy shit.
Izon, I don't
know.
think it was. Maybe
Yeah,
it was.
Izon.
It was Izon. So, but here, what if you there was an actual clothing line out there that made fashion clothes out of all those old off-brand championship shirt. Like it's like, hey, the 1989 loser of the World Series. And it's like
That
you
would actually
make
be
clothes
insanely
that
smart.
you
Yeah.
would make a fortune in
Yeah,
this
it would be
kind of
very
like as
smart.
people are getting record players back out and people are going to a coffee shop with like an old typewriter. Hey, that clothing line would pop. Lacoste.
Yeah,
is S.
Lacoste was what people are saying in the chat.
Anyway, Rihanna and her wild dress, the life of the rich and the famous.
Dude, this is one of the biggest Panther stories ever.
Right.
Like Rihanna wears a Panther jersey, and everybody.
Well, I
everybody
mean,
says
everybody
crazy.
would love for that to be their baby mama. To be honest,
I was gonna say, can we at least admit it's one of the most beautiful women we've ever seen wearing a Panthers
Oh yeah,
jersey?
dude,
Like, I mean, come on.
She's so hot.
Yeah.
But can we at least admit that the dress is ugly? Like on the
dress is
right
very
side,
ugly.
like it's just
But
just a bunch
she
of
still looks fantastic. in it.
jerseys stitched together from
awesome. I
top
love
to
it.
bottom, dude.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
I mean, it's more like art than it is.
Yeah.
Well, the problem
like-
is, look at the huge gap between the 95 and the Collins, which you have the Collins is the only name on the jersey, and then the small gap between 12 and 34. You should have cut Collins out and put the 12 up right below the 95, like the 34. Greg, fashion designer, right here.
designer,
and that would have been a dress right there. I'm just saying, look, listen to me. I know how to do fashion. Look at me. You know,
I think it's art. It's
Panther
art.
Gal 73
I wonder how much
says,
she paid for it.
Panther Gal says she'd wear it to church.
How much do you think that dress cost?
Probably like, yeah, dude. White chocolate.
$14,000.
White
probably like
chocolate
14
said she
grand.
probably
Way
paid
more than it's worth.
$50,000 for that dress.
Those are probably game
for
worn
a
jerseys.
jersey that costs $50 each.
That is awesome. We gotta get in this business of this of the losing t-shirt.
Repurposing jerseys.
Yeah, losing one. And what if we sold it like, hey, you want to forget the 2015 Super Bowl, the Broncos? Fuck them. Why don't you just wear the one you wanted? Like you're like revisionist history and that's what we would call the name of our clothing brand, revisionist history. Like,
we made championship shirts for every team that lost.
Is that a remake of the jersey dress? Do y'all remember when the jersey dress was really big? I mean, my wife liked them, but do y'all remember that? Is it a remake of that? The ugly jersey dress? Can we call it that?
I think this is a one-off, one model. All right, what's next? I think we had some injury talk too. We have Smitty. Wasn't it Smitty? Smitty's got a big podcast coming out tomorrow, guys, and Moose is going to be up there crying. Tears. You want to watch the little clip?
Yeah, hang on one second.
He's emotional.
Cue it up.
This is the nicest you ever heard Steve Smith be to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Immediate tears. Clearly, it's just a cut of tomorrow. Cut to it. It's a cut from cut to it. But tomorrow, check out Steve Smith's cut to it, as his guest is Nassim Muhammad.
There are a lot of people that help me get where I'm at. But then there's some people who made me who I am. And man, I always appreciate that of you, man.
Man, you're making me emotional in here, man.
But you my big bro, man.
Yeah.
And because I'm a product of what you taught. You, Ricky, Moose, all those guys, Rich, Fred Graves, Bobby Ingram, all those guys taught me a lot of stuff, man. And so I just want to make sure, and also people know, man, it ain't no Smitty without Moose.
Smitty, it's been a pleasure, man.
Absolutely,
It's
man.
been a pleasure, man. And I'm thankful that you decided to retire in this city. I decided to retire in this city because we got a lot of good years ahead of us too, you know. And it's only beginning. You know,
Yeah.
so it's just beginning. Like life is, I feel like it's just really starting to begin. You know,
Yeah.
and we had a lot of good times and a lot of things to teach because we got some people from behind us that need to understand too.
Yeah.
How to be special.
Yeah.
So Smitty paying some homage to the great Musin Mohammed.
Oh, yeah.
Says he wouldn't be the man that he is today without him. That seems like it'll be super emotional.
Hey,
City
can, I,
Boys.
can I just say too, like that was fantastic seeing that. But the fact that both of them were talking about chose to retire in this city goes back to what I was saying about Charlotte beforehand. If you've never been to Charlotte, man, what a great city that these players decide to retire and come back here. Not granted, I get they played for us, but you can at that point when you have that much money, you can go anywhere you want to. Anywhere you want to, and you decide to come back to
And
Charlotte
a
and retire.
businessman in the community is. I know Moose used to. Man, I don't know what the epicenter is, if it even exists. Didn't they close? He owned
Dude.
the Wild Wings, Buffalo Wild Wings, or whatever it is. He was either the owner or part owner of that one that was in the epicenter. So he's a businessman in Charlotte, Moose. And I felt like Steve Smith should have been like, man, I'm just so happy I never got mad enough to punch you in the face, Moose. So thankful I didn't do that when I was young, because now I'm older and we're sitting here thinking back about our lives and trying to continue to live them beyond football. And here we are. And now we can be friends because I didn't punch you in the face like Ken Lucas. Ken Lucas not going to be on the Cut to It podcast, I'm guessing.
No, probably not. By the way, shout out to my boy Handy Capable in the chat. He's a good friend of ours, new part of the C3 Nation. So shout out to him. And yeah, man, I can't wait to watch Moose and Steve talk about all those old days with the Carolina Panthers. I'm sure they have so many stories. You just want to be a fly on the wall when they talk about everything that they've been through. So that ought to be.
I'm sorry. I was looking at the chat. I think Jonathan Stewart lives in Charlotte as well, too. Man, he's always doing crap around here. He did the air horn at the Canes game. The first.
Yeah, they said he broke it, right?
Really?
That's what I heard.
Pumped. He was excited to be there. He looked like he was having a good time. And that was the game that went 9 hours, went 7 periods. It wasn't that. It was long. It was long.
Two and a third games. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty insane.
And he was excited to be there, man. The Canes. That's my ace up pick tonight. 0-3. They're getting blanked by the Panthers. All right. Yeah, Charlotte, great place. And I think, man, it is one of the nicest, in the country, like one of the up and coming, right? Is like North Carolina taxes aren't crazy. So I mean, the only thing we don't get as many snowbirds in North Carolina because there's a lot of benefits of going to Florida for no state income tax. They have like pension, like in Georgia you don't get your pension taxed, and so like a lot of people from the north, but like everybody who goes to Charlotte and like in North Carolina loves it. It's like a city that's growing, the great schools. It's like got everything. It's got the international airport, banking.
Yeah.
It's like a clean.
It's the fastest growing city in the Southeast.
It is.
Still?
It's the biggest banking city in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
wow.
It's a big
for
deal.
a long time.
And now the stadium's going to be called Smithfield Bacon. No, it's not. It's got to be Bank of America.
It's going to be a bank of some sort. If not Bank of America, it'll be another bank.
Fifth Third.
But what's
Bank
bigger
or
than
some
Bank of America? To be honest,
I know.
There's three. There's 3 big ones beyond that.
Wells Fargo.
Yeah, but Wells Fargo and JP Morgan, beyond that, what's
like, why do we assume that why are so many people assuming that Bank of America won't just pick up the rights again?
I don't know. To be honest with you, I really don't. I kind of like Bank of America. I think it's pretty awesome.
Hasn't it felt like that a little bit?
Yeah,
That like the people that have talked about it have been like, oh, it's going to be something different.
I don't know, man. I think that, like I said, Tepper wants to
Cody,
make
you're
this a
there.
Super Bowl ready franchise. I think that and the only way to do that is to build a brand new state of the art stadium. And if Bank of America is not down to do that, then he will drop them and find somebody.
Well, they don't
build
the stadium though; they just buy the naming rights.
Well, they
right?
sponsor it though. Like they have a big part
Yeah, it's a
And
pretty
a
costly.
financial contribution to the team.
Yeah, they're
to be a
probably getting
sponsor,
ready. The
you know?
city of Charlotte is probably getting ready to spend around $1 billion on renovations to Bank of America
Yeah,
Stadium.
$1 billion on renovations. Dude,
Yeah.
they're like, what are they gonna? They might put a roof on that mug for $1 billion.
I hope so.
I think they might call it Lowe's Field. I'm telling you, in my mind, I feel like
that.
it's going to be Lowe's. Lowe's has their brand new headquarters here in Charlotte. They're a big
And they
warehouse
just like
store.
own all of Charlotte. Well, don't they have the Lowe's
Yeah,
Motor
they have the
Speedway?
Lowe's Motor Speedway too. Yeah,
Just
they're
be
a
like
big.
we
They're
own
a,
the city.
yeah, they're a big competitor to Home Depot, and Home Depot, that's the Falcons. That's Arthur Blank. So,
All right. So go to Cut to It tomorrow. Find out about Smitty and Moose and the Charlotte community that is just full of Panther legends. What's next?
yeah, so two things that I wanted to speak about. We'll start on offense first. Hayden Hurst underwent a sports hernia surgery.
This is scary.
Yeah, Reich wasn't sure his timeline to return. And it's like, why are we just now learning about this?
Right.
Sports
really,
hernias they're sneaky injuries, man. Right? Like
Right.
is so like what's one of those things like you can't, and they can get worse, right? Any hernia can start out as something that is like, all right, well, your muscles are going to repair itself and do some different things. But the sports hernia is kind of hard to diagnose, right? It's like you just have some discomfort, should I say? And the problem though with the hernia injuries is that it's not that they're not fixable and fixed pretty quickly. To be honest, it's just like I'm sure they have to be careful in their recovery.
Yeah.
Right. Like you don't want to like hit the weights too quick or something, and maybe like so it could be a slow burn for him in some ways, I think.
Yeah. I have some thoughts about this before we go any further. Who wore it better, Rihanna or the boy, White Chocolate Express?
Oh, definitely.
We should all just go to games like this.
Yeah. Kev, you little naughty son of a bitch.
We should all do that. You know what is be like what if you did this? What if you sewed together the same exact dress with the same jerseys, but you used all knockoff jerseys? And so it was the double knockoff.
Oh, dude. Get that off my screen, bro. What the hell are we doing? What the hell are we doing? So when it comes to Hayden Hurst, man, like, I don't know. I mean, the fact that we don't have a timetable, that's kind of worrisome to me. It's like, come on, man. I just don't want to have a situation where Hayden Hurst is, slow to make an impact on the team because of this injury that we're just now finding out about.
Right. Right.
Go ahead.
Biggest issue is just not knowing this beforehand. Like, did the Panthers know that he needed this before they signed him? That's a huge deal. And I get that I can't, like, they don't care what I think, but I care what I think. Like, I just feel like, Cody, you put it out there best. Why would you sign a player like this? Or maybe you can understand why this player would be let go if he had this coming in the future and you knew this was coming. We have no idea what's going on.
You're talking about Hurst, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. That again, these sports hernias, man. I think that's the hernia that goes down. Like so a hernia usually is something as your intestine, like as you're pushed through, right? You have torn muscle, or
generally in the groin area.
Yeah,
right?
like in the stomach is the when they call
lower stomach.
Sports hernias, I think, are the ones that go down, like behind your like.
Yeah, the power lifters wear belts around their midsection whenever they're lifting heavy weights, so they don't get
But again,
hernias.
sometimes it's like this, Greg. It's like just a little weakness in the intestine, like in the wall, and then like over time it gets worse. So it's not something like, oh, they knew he had a sports hernia.
Okay,
right?
Well,
like
you may be right,
like
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I mean, this could be a recent thing. It could be something that worsened, and they just figured out exactly what was going on. I think the more the problem, and like somebody's bringing up in the chat, is like, dang, we've got a tight end who's dealt with injuries in the past. I think he's had one other, but then DJ Shark, like these guys. But I mean, 1 year deal for Shark. This is when you don't want people getting hurt. This is probably nothing, right? I mean, like I'm sure the timeline for this is him being back and being fine, but it's just like, dang, this is a guy. This is not CJ. How about this? Would you be as disappointed if CJ Henderson missed with a sports hernia?
I don't care if
or
he
Hayden
has a
Hurst.
sports hernia,
Exactly.
yeah.
So here,
Well,
Greg's favorite player, CJ
Oh my God.
Henderson, missed.
I want to get him on the show. I want to talk to him.
I don't know if you
I
do.
want to talk to him.
I don't know if you
Let
do.
Let me talk to him. I got questions to ask him.
I think
he's
we
got
all
no
have, we
answers
all
to
have a
give
lot of
you.
questions.
It'd be like, all right.
So earlier today, or maybe at the start of the podcast, rather, I tipped my hat that there's a certain player that I don't think is going to be on the roster, and I said this on Embrace Debate with me, Desmond, and Monty, that the way things are going, I do not predict CJ Henderson is going to be on the roster week 1. I really don't. I feel he is on such a steep decline. And look, they said that he was there or he wasn't there for personal reasons. I don't know this man's life. Maybe it was something that was, very personal that, couldn't allow him to be there. OTAs are indeed voluntary after all. But the fact that the Carolina Panthers did not pick up his 5th-year option, you know that your job is on the line, and you're still not going to show up?
Mm-hmm.
Bro, no one believes in him right now. And one of the things that we talked about a long time ago when we traded for CJ Henderson was there was always the rumors that we heard that Henderson didn't love football. That, he doesn't have that fire, that passion to be the best player possible. And with this performance after last season, I don't know, man. CJ Henderson, I just feel like that is a roller coaster going down, down, down.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, and you have very talented undrafted free agent Rajon Wright, who I know he's undrafted, but I'm hoping he might be able to impress a little bit. None of us want to depend on Keith Taylor, so it's a bit of a tough situation. But I don't know why CJ wouldn't make it a point to be there, knowing everything he has going on right now with the Panthers organization.
Because he's not good.
We need to not hate on Keith Taylor so much, right? It's like we always love to. No, we love to throw these, but no,
He's as good as Henderson.
Liked him a lot. Steve Smith was gushing
stats.
about him last year. If we got CJ Henderson up here on the podcast for Greg, and Greg threw the heavy hitter at him, and he goes, "So, what was the reason you didn't go to OTAs?" As Cody tells me that this roller coaster keeps going down, down, and down. And what if he just said, "Well, personally, I didn't want to be there. That was my reason." He said, "Personal reason. Personally, I didn't want to go. It was optional." That would probably be the answer to that. Why does he? What's he gonna do? Like, is CJ Henderson did not want to be there? That's what I think the personal reason was.
So okay, I'm pulling up stats right now because that is interesting to see. Okay, so
Keith Taylor got cooked in one game, and everybody
Keith
is like,
Taylor started 5 games in his career, so let's give him a break compared to CJ Henderson.
He got cooked in one game, and people these poor core. It's like turning on Ben Wickery.
Yeah,
man, they let Julio Jones cook him for 200 yards, and then everybody's like coming off first game back in a year and a half, and they put a nickel corner on a guy who's the best receiver in the damn league, and they put him in man, and they say, "Hey, go cover Julio," and then he's like out of shape, and Ron Rivera goes, "Well, if he was in shape, he could have done." Oh man, poor Ben Wickery got run over with a Mack truck by Ron Rivera and the Panther fan base. Keith Taylor isn't far behind him on this. You guys are running over him with a damn cement truck for no reason.
No, you're absolutely right. Keith Taylor in 5 starts had 67 combo tackles. CJ Henderson
because everybody was passing on him.
Well, but that's okay. So he
Man,
also
this
has
guy
one. He
had
also has
60
one
years
forced
of
fumble, 12
say-
assists. Well,
he had
look
one-
at
what was the
CJ
game?
Henderson in okay. Yeah, go ahead.
What game was it that he got beat up in? It was around that Atlanta game somewhere.
Yeah, because that was the game of his career, wasn't it?
It was somewhere. I forget who it was. That
I think it was that Atlanta game because I remember
they didn't pass
he played
much.
lights out.
Who? Keith
CJ
Taylor?
Henderson.
Oh, CJ Henderson. Yeah. I wonder where Keith Taylor got cooked though. What game it was? Because like what game was that? Because there was a specific game last year where people were like, "Oh, this dude sucks now." Like we turned on him.
And it's hard because like I want to compare stats and I want to defend, but then I realize that I'm defending Keith Taylor, and I'm like, well, okay, maybe I should stop.
Yeah, dude, that's a losing
Like,
battle. They
it's
are
a losing
ass,
battle. Like,
man. Like
even
that's
against CJ Henderson, and which I don't think CJ Henderson's like a leap and bounds afford Keith Taylor, but I'm trying to defend Keith Taylor. It's like, so okay, maybe I should just stop.
yeah, you definitely should.
Yeah.
But hey, you know, again, I don't think that his heart is in it. Like, and again, I'm not trying to read too much into him not being at OTAs, but come on, if you were a professional football player and the team that you play for didn't pick up your 5th-year option, and you have a brand new coaching staff, what this dude has been under like what 3 or 4 different coaching staffs in his NFL career, like why would you not be doing everything in your power to show well of yourself and put it out there that you're coming out here looking to ball? I mean, JC Horn was out there, Dante Jackson was out there, all the other big names were out there.
I'll tell you why. Because CJ Henderson signed a 2-year contract with Jacksonville for $9.5 million. And then that was before he even signed with Carolina. I don't know what he got with Carolina, or if he's still on that same thing. I don't care. $9.5 million is enough to take care of your family for the rest of your life. That's why he doesn't care. He came in the NFL to make a paycheck, which I respect that. If you want to do that, it's fine. But just get out. You made your paycheck.
He's trying to.
Yeah, now
he's about to.
So.
What do we got next, Cody?
By the way, Daniel S says it was the Pittsburgh game.
Pittsburgh. Oh, and was it like Kenny Pickett?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just being all kinds of terrible. So I wanted to bring this up. The NFL put out their power rankings for all the 32 starting quarterbacks in the NFL, and I happen to have that list right here. And we're gonna
don't put it up yet. Don't put it up.
Okay. You told me just in time.
Let's do ours real quick, and then we'll compare it.
Well, of the top 32 or just the top?
We'll just do top 10.
Okay. All of ours individually?
I don't know. We can maybe try to consensus do it real quick. Number 1,
Pat Mahomes.
Pat Mahomes. Yeah.
I say Pat Mahomes. All right.
No question.
Number 2, I would say Joe Burrow.
I agree. I agree.
I can't argue that.
Number 3, I would say Josh Allen.
He took a step back last year is my only thing.
All right.
Who's the name that you would put above him?
Yeah, that's the question. I agree he did take a step back, but I can't.
For me, Aaron Rodgers.
I mean, Jalen Hurts is probably the one that I would consider being better. But he's only had 1 year of good, you know?
Yeah.
But we're talking about right now. Not talking about in totality. We're talking about right now, right?
I mean, going into this season.
I would be with you and CK to say Jalen Hurts number 3 for me over Josh Allen.
I think Jalen Hurts right now. I don't believe that he's going to stay there. Josh Allen played hurt last year, but I think right now Jalen Hurts proved a lot more last year.
So then we go
3 Hurts, 4 Josh Allen.
4 Josh Allen.
5.
I would say
everybody's gonna go Justin Herbert.
I would say Justin Herbert. Yeah.
I would say Trevor Lawrence. But I'm not.
You know what? I honestly, Cody, you converted me last year towards the end of the year. You didn't, but Trevor did. I think I'd rather have Trevor Lawrence than Justin Herbert too. I agree. I'll go with you on that.
I like them both. I think you can not. I don't
it's
think
an easy 5-6.
I say Herbert over that.
Okay.
CK, you pick between the two.
Herbert.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
But
So Herbert.
Didn't Trevor Lawrence
Then
beat
we're gonna
Herbert
give you
in the
Trevor
playoffs?
Yeah,
Lawrence.
that's what I'm saying,
Like,
dude.
didn't he beat
That's
Herbert
what
in the
I'm-
playoffs? Like,
Yeah, man. Like
okay.
one of them. Hey, I don't know. I don't know.
What
all right,
about
so
But that's easy
Dan-
5-6 right there.
Aaron
So we're going to 7,
Rodgers?
right?
So there's so we
Yes.
also have Lamar Jackson out there. So
do you
we're-
put him
what-
above Aaron Rodgers?
What number are we at right now?
Yes,
We're
I
at
put
8.
Tony.
Are we
I'll go
doing
ahead
the
and tell you
top
right now,
10?
Aaron Rodgers is
Lamar?
barely going to make my
I'll
top
go
10
as
if
far
he
as we
does.
can real quick. Lamar. Who is it? It's not
At
Deshaun
7?
Watson. It's not Lamar. It's not. I mean, it's not Russell Wilson. It's not. All right. So
Not-
who's in the
it's not
South?
Dak.
Nobody in the
Not-
South. The
At number
Giants. We
8?
did the Eagles. It's nobody from. It's not
What about
Dak.
Baker?
It's not.
I'm
It's
just
not Kirk Cousins. It's not.
We're,
It's Lamar or Aaron Rodgers. And who's next?
we're at
who
number 7.
Yeah, we're at number 7. I'd take Lamar. He's probably the next guy I'd take off the
I would.
board, to be fair.
Y'all can say all you want about me
He's gonna
hating
say
on
Deshaun
Lamar.
Watson, but
I would take Trevor over Lamar.
We've
Well,
already
Trevor's
got
already
Trevor.
there.
He's number
Trevor's
7.
5 or 6. We said Trevor and Herbert are
So
5
you
or
have
6.
Herbert is, or Trevor Lawrence is
Mahomes,
6.
Burrow, Hurts,
either 5 or
Allen,
6, so we
Herbert,
split on that.
Lawrence. We're at number
Yeah.
7 now.
All right. So who would you go, Lamar or Aaron Rodgers?
I go Lamar. Lamar has a way better upside going forward than Rodgers does.
I would
Yeah.
say Rodgers because he's won before. It's Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah,
2
what,
MVPs.
Like 13 years
Yeah.
ago, he won a Super Bowl.
in a
Cool.
while.
I mean, within the
Lo-
past
lo-
3
lost, like,
years,
Lost an NFC Championship
CK,
home game. Lost like
you
the
he's
last
settle
been,
it.
home
he's been
playoff
an
game, he's
MVP.
settle
He's
it.
been an MVP 2
He's a
times in the
spaz.
last 3
Okay,
years.
cool. I'll take it. I'll take Lamar.
I'm gonna
Over
take.
Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I'll take
Oh.
Aaron Rodgers.
Okay.
You went Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah.
Okay, then we're
Okay.
going Aaron Rodgers.
I'll
Then
take
we're
Rodgers.
going Lamar.
Lamar's next. Okay.
Lamar.
I know who
who's
I
next?
know who I would put at
Next.
number
Just say
10.
Watson, go ahead.
I know who
you
I would
Bryce
put
Young.
to. Hey, what about
Bryce Young.
Bryce
Oh,
Young
what
is
about Tua? Dak. It's Tua, Dak, Gino. You could say Patrick. I mean Murray. What's his name?
Murray's
little
not
guy.
even playing next year, so you can't.
I know, but he's been hurt.
Yeah.
But he is. Who are you gonna say, Cody?
I mean, is it what we think, or is it what the
Yeah,
media at large
No,
would
what we
think?
think. What we think.
I'd put Deshaun Watson next.
God, no way.
Y'all are judging what 5 games that he played last year.
No, we
No,
haven't
he
seen him
played
in
more
3
than-
years.
Yeah, I mean,
We haven't seen him in so long, dude. It's
And-
not just
and-
5.
Yeah, but
And when
it
he
was-
played like he didn't play well.
Somebody
Like he
said
played
in the
really
chat said-
badly.
Tua. There's Russell
Dak,
Wilson.
Russell, yeah.
There's Prescott.
You got to throw Kirk Cousins in there in that category.
Cousins.
He's about that area. Yeah.
Oh, what about Matt Stafford?
Super Bowl winning quarterback. Yeah.
He's also hurt. He was hurt last
Alright.
year. I've never been a big
wh-
Matthew Stafford.
All right, I'm not
fan. I
putting
just never
Deshaun
have.
Watson.
But so was
next.
Tua.
I'm not
Tua was
putting
hurt last
Deshaun
year.
Watson next. Give me
Yeah.
another name, and
It's
then we'll
either
put
Dak.
Deshaun.
It's either Dak or Jared Goff,
Ooh, golf.
or maybe Kirk Cousins.
Prescott. Oh wait, Dak.
Oh, we're talking about who we think is the better player or who we think has a better looking
No,
season.
this
going
is our
forward.
top 10. We're just trying to
No,
get it
just-
out real quick. We're just
This
having
is
fun.
our power rankings of quarterbacks going into
I'm gonna
next
say
season.
Deshaun
And I'm putting
Watson.
Prescott over.
I think
over
Tua. I
Goff
like
because
Tua
Cowboys are
here.
better than Lions.
I don't like Tua better than Dak.
All right,
I don't
so
like
we
Tua better
go
than Dak. He
Dak,
hadn't proven it yet.
Prescott. No way over Deshaun. I could see how you're making sense there.
Dude,
Ugh.
Deshaun, people forget how talented Deshaun is.
They do. You're right. He has to come back and remind us.
I still don't like it though.
Yeah.
Dak,
Um,
then what? Dak, then Tua. Gosh. All right, that's it.
How about this?
I don't want to put. I'm not putting Deshaun Watson in my top 10 right now. Not that can
Okay.
change next year,
Yeah.
but I'm not putting him over Tua or Kirk Cousins at this moment. Actually, no, I would say this. I'd put him over Kirk Cousins.
He hasn't proven anything yet.
But why
Bryce
put him
Young.
over Kirk Cousins?
Bryce
Kirk
Young.
Cousins has
Yeah.
never
Bryce
been
Young's a top 10
disappointing.
quarterback. Boom, right away.
If Carolina had a quarterback that put up Kirk Cousins numbers every year, we'd be happy with it. You know why? Because we haven't done that in years.
If he throws, say, he threw 4,000 yards next year,
Who we talking
and
about?
he
Kurt?
Bryce Young.
Bryce Young. Okay.
I mean, we're leaving one really big name off of this list.
Who we
Christian
missing?
McCaffrey. Like you see what he
that's-
did in the playoffs.
Yeah,
4,000 yards, 25 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. I think Bryce Young right here is already on this list. What's this pickup here? What were Dak Prescott's numbers last year, Greg? Look those up.
I'll look it up. They're not great because I know he
hurt.
led the league in interceptions.
Okay, how
and he
about
missed like 6 games.
Kirk Cousins numbers last year?
All right, hang on, let me pull it up.
All right, and then we'll go.
They were in the playoffs.
Let's see
You
what
want me to
Kirk
show it?
Cousins' numbers were. Now let's pull up their top 10. I kind of want to see. Yeah, let's pull up their top 10.
Kirk Cousins last year was 68%.
We almost have the list
completion.
verbatim.
He was 68% completion. Why did
So-
oh, sorry, wrong stat.
They have their top 10 is Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, Trevor Lawrence,
That's
Lamar
exactly-
Jackson, Aaron Rodgers.
That's our list.
They have Kirk Cousins, number 9. They have Dak Prescott, 10. Jared Goff, 11. Tua Tagovailoa, 12. Deshaun Watson,
I told you I wouldn't put him
13.
top 10. Lamar, Aaron, Cousins.
Baker's 28.
What were Cousins' numbers last year?
Cousins had 4,547 yards, 65% completion, 29 touchdowns, 14 interceptions.
How
So,
about this?
look, I think
Touchdowns,
if Bryce Young has, just say he had 4,200 yards and that same touchdown to interception ratio, he
2 to 1, yeah.
automatically
2 to 1.
becomes a guy that you're talking about all the names above those people, like behind, right? Like, so is like you're looking at that 10, 11, 12 spot. He could get ahead of Deshaun Watson and Dak Prescott immediately this year.
Dude, how about look at this. So they have Bryce Young and the Panthers at number 23. They have him ahead of Ryan Tannehill, Kenny Pickett, Russell Wilson, Jordan Love, Baker Mayfield, Anthony Richardson, Sam Howell, and Desmond Ridder. So the
CJ
fact that
Stroud.
right
Yeah.
now, dude, could you imagine? Like, he hasn't played a snap of football, but he's ranked ahead of Russell Wilson. Like, dude, his season last year is such an anomaly. Like, I don't think we've ever seen such a big time, big name quarterback just completely fall off a cliff. Like
Sure, we have
Russell Wilson.
Peyton Manning, 2015. He just had a
Yeah,
defense.
but then he was old though. Everybody knew that he was out of his
Who are
prime.
you talking about?
He still
Who
fell
fell
off
off
a
a
cliff,
cliff?
and his defense carried to a championship.
Russell Wilson.
Oh, I know.
Bryce
Where's
Young
Russ?
is
Oh,
rated-
Russell
He was my
Wilson's
fantasy
all the way
quarterback
at
last
20.
year.
Bryce
Oh,
Young
God.
is rated ahead of Russell Wilson.
He was my fantasy quarterback. I was like, oh, he's gonna be
We'll
great.
see
in
this
Denver.
year. Look, if Russell
Oh.
Wilson's bad this year, it's over. I could see how it was just bad. It's not gonna be that as bad as it was last year. I could see that, but the question is is his arm dead? His arm might be dead. Like remember how it was sometimes watching Cam when the shoulder was bad, and it was like it
Yeah.
looked like he was throwing like he was trying to hurl it to the moon, and it was only
Tony,
like
on
12
one,
yards.
on one of those podcast nights, you said it was like a invasion of the body snatchers. It was like just a lesser talented human being snatched the body of Cam Newton and just caused his talent to fall off of a cliff.
That's
Yeah,
what it
that
was like
is
for
what it
Russell.
was like.
Uh,
But dude, Russell Wilson doesn't even have that excuse. Like, he's not injured. He's still technically in his prime. He's not that old.
No.
Aaron Rodgers is a lot older than him. A lot
Yeah.
of players have been older than him and played better than he did last year. So the fact
see.
that the first pick in the draft is rated above a dude who won a Super Bowl and who's been a top 5 NFL quarterback for the past 5 years, that's insane.
But
I'm
that says
happy
more
for
for
it.
that player than it does for the for Russell Wilson than it does for Bryce Young. To be truly honest with you,
Oh,
Yeah.
we
who's
expected
no
Bryce
doubt.
Young to come in and be
No
a great
doubt.
quarterback. Russell Wilson, I think, based on the last 3 games of last year, because he had a few good games towards the end of the year. I think that I have, because of what he's done, I'm going to give him another shot to be a decent quarterback. I'm not giving up on him yet, but he has one more year.
I have
Like,
a
if he has
big
another year
problem
like
with the
last
name
year, it's
on this
done.
list. I've got a massive problem with a name or two on this list right
Who?
here.
Is it number 19?
Matt Jones, number 14.
No,
That's pretty
well,
bullshit.
that was
Number 15.
yes, number 15 is bullshit. Brock Purdy is not allowed to be
But he did great on the
ahead
S2
of
test.
I
That's what they
he
can say.
he has his arm. He had Tommy John surgery like yesterday. He can't
but
even pick up
didn't
a
DeLone come
football
back
right
from Tommy
now.
John surgery?
And
It's
he
not
no, yeah, I
detrimental.
mean, like, no, it's the surgery when you get back. It's not. I mean, and I don't know if he had Tommy John, but I think Tommy John they can do now where your arm is stronger for baseball players, like then when you
Like
before
Rookie
you
of the
heard
Year?
it, like yeah,
Remember the
yeah,
movie
they
Rookie of the
tune it
Year?
up, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So I'm not saying the injury alone, but he is coming off of a significant injury. So you're talking partly about future success and like future potential and past, and we have such a small sample set.
It's not a small sample set. He played half of the last season, went undefeated in the regular season, and lost in the championship game because he got injured in the first drive. That's not a small sample size. The guy played.
Oh, he lost.
He played
Well, who
well.
knows? The Jets still could have won no matter what. I'm saying he played well.
They
but
may
here to
have.
put
They
all
may
right.
have,
So
yeah.
I think isn't that a little disrespectful to? All right, what names did you have any problems with the names on that? Look, I think Russell Wilson's probably a little too low on this.
Well, yeah.
But like, I mean, gosh, look at that. I don't know. I think Brock Purdy's too high. I think here I would take Mac Jones and Brock Purdy and drop them down. I'd rather put up Geno Smith, Justin Fields, Matthew Stafford, Derek Carr, all up in there.
Yeah, I mean, Matthew
guys.
Stafford, Geno Smith. Hey, dude, say what you want. Daniel Jones had a good year last year.
Actually, yeah. We need. Why is Mac Jones up there at 14? Mac Jones.
Yeah,
and Brock Purdy.
Daniel Jones is the better of the
here.
two Joneses. That's for certain.
I can agree with you that I think that Brock Purdy and Mac Jones are rated too high. And like I said, the only reason I defend Purdy is because he did play well last year. Like it's inaccurate to say he didn't play well. He played really well, but I don't think he's the number 15 quarterback in the NFL. I don't think he's the standard. Number 15 right there, that's the guy. That's the standard. I don't think that's him.
All right, I got a thought exercise for you guys.
Let's do it.
Let's take out, first of all, Deshaun Watson. I mean, Mac Jones and Brock Purdy, right? So we've got empty slots at 14 and 15. And we're going to fast forward 1 year from now. Next year, we're on this podcast. We're looking at the same list. I have a good feeling the top 6 is probably going to just be the same. Top 7, you could argue. Right. Let's say this is Kirk Cousins, Dak Prescott, and Jared Goff fall out. There's 5 spots available in the top 15.
Mm-hmm.
Who are the people that's names will be there next year? I think Bryce Young. We have an argument right away. If he has a pretty darn good, it doesn't have to be the greatest. If he puts up like 3,800 yards, 25 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, 12, 13, right? You're like that 2-1. All of a sudden, I think he's top 15 easily. Okay. Who on the bottom half of this list? I think for me, it's Fields is another name I would see there. Who do you guys see jumping into the top 15 a year from now?
I think Jimmy G. I think in Las Vegas, I think Jimmy G.
We have 5 spots. We have 5 open spots, right? So let's take out 5 of these people and let's put the 5 in.
I mean, I would say Justin Fields.
Yep.
I mean, again, if you're talking into the top 10,
Bryce Young,
top 15.
Yeah,
Bryce
Young, I think is definitely going to be a part of it this year. Dude, you know what? Something tells me that maybe Jordan Love might surprise some people this year too.
Because
Just
you've never
'cause
seen an
the
unsuccessful Packers
Packers
quarterback in your
quarterback,
lifetime. That's
exactly.
why. Yeah, that's the only reason you feel that way.
Maybe it's a trend for
yeah.
a reason.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if it is like Anthony Richardson.
I would think Anthony
was gonna
Richardson
say
has a chance to
Stroud.
do that.
I think it
Yeah.
would be Anthony
Stroud doesn't have a
Richardson.
team to do it. I think.
I think Anthony Richardson has the ability because of his ability to not need weapons because he can be the weapon,
Yeah.
right? I think that's the reason that I would put him on that list as a high likability or as a high potential to be there.
I'm
Yeah.
telling y'all, I think y'all are sleeping on Jimmy G in Vegas with Devontae Adams.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We just don't trust their coach at all.
I hear you.
All right. Okay. So fun stuff. Fun stuff. We'll be watching. I think what's really exciting, it made me kind of sad in a certain case, is how easy it is for one of these rookies to become a top 15 quarterback next year, because there's 2 people we don't believe in. There's 3 people we think are getting old.
I mean, they already have Bryce in the top 25.
And honestly,
Like-
yeah,
And are there a lot of teams next year in need of a quarterback? The Vikings, the Cowboys.
How about this? How about this? Let's mention every name up until the top 10 and say who we think will have a better year. So Bryce Young or Jimmy Garoppolo? Bryce. I'm saying Bryce.
I think
Yeah, easier division. So yes,
All
I'll
right.
say Bryce
yeah,
Young.
okay.
All right, Bryce Young and division rival Derek Carr.
Bryce Young.
Bryce Young.
Bryce Young.
Oh. Yeah. I think the Saints could be a mess this year.
Yeah, I do too. Daniel Jones. Yeah, I say yeah.
Bryce Young, yeah.
Bryce Young.
Because I don't know. I don't
Not
know
that
how well
hard to beat Daniel
Dude,
Jones.
look at Daniel Jones's numbers.
I mean, he had one season and it wasn't
No.
even
It was I'm saying his best season was this past
last
year.
year. Yeah.
Look at his numbers.
Hold on. I'm looking them up right now.
You're gonna face plant about how bad. Like we've been everybody.
Right,
how much
like
money
they-
he got?
He threw 67%. That was good. He only had 3,200 yards, 15 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Yeah, so Bryce
It's a good
Young,
ratio.
Wait, that was
Yeah,
Daniel
great.
Jones?
Yeah.
Daniel
ratio was
Jones.
really
Yeah,
well.
I'm
Yeah, I mean-
definitely picking Bryce over that.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah,
All right,
not
yeah.
that wonderful. Geno Smith. I say yes.
Yes.
Man, I don't know. Gino's balling, and they got a bunch of receivers.
Can you
Yeah.
I
say
say
Gino
no.
might have had a
Gino's
really
said no.
lucky year, to be honest
Yeah.
with you?
No, he had a really lucky first half of the year. If
Yeah.
you look at the back half of the year, I think it paints a much more accurate tale of what Geno Smith was.
Right. We have an entire history of Geno Smith not playing that well,
Right.
and he had a good year, and I get that, and he did play really, really well. I'm not trying to take that away from him, but he hasn't shown me enough to make me feel like he's a top 15 quarterback.
Mm-mm.
I would definitely take him over Matthew Stafford. I would take him over Geno Smith and Matthew Stafford just to get those out the way.
Well, Geno Smith's who we're talking about, right?
Yeah, but I'm saying,
No, we're
like,
just
for
saying who's
me,
gonna have
those
a better
that,
season,
that's
right? Okay.
that's easy. And then Rare Gamer says if Young is ranked higher than Fields, does that mean we won the trade?
So let's
they-
talk about the Fields thing. Let's go ahead and pull up. Look, this is the Bears. Bears fans. And maybe Bears fans are just like this is the time they get excited. But DJ Moore is a breath of fresh air for these people. Like the team is over there talking about him, looking at he's got him with his visor looking way too clean. And then I was watching a Bears podcast today, and I ran across this. Is they really liking the Fields and DJ Moore connection? Here's a short little clip, and it's from the CHGO podcast on YouTube.
Hang on.
But oh man, I'm getting fiber internet in my neighborhood, man. They
I just got it.
They
Very
just
nice.
put it through my front yard.
I just got it.
You like? I mean, it's awesome, isn't it?
Dude, it's so much better. It's like the upload speed is the exact same as the download speed, which is unheard of. Normally, you're looking at like I
Like
I
3
had
to 1
Cox.
or
I had
5 to
Cox.
1.
No, and it was sometimes worse. I had Cox, and they had this thing called Gigablast. Like you can get speeds up to a 1 gig per download speeds, right? And then upload speeds of like 100 gigs or whatever, 100 megabytes rather. And I've rarely ever eclipsed 500 down, and barely maybe touched 40 or maybe 50 down or upload. I've got this, and immediately right now I've got everything.
You're 5 and 5.
1,000 and like 1 gig and 1 gig.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Like the cable internet, unless you're like, it's like the further away you get from the real source, like the central source, it loses steam. So like the only way they can get 1 gig is like in the actual Sudden Link or Cox cable.
Dude, it makes me so mad. Google Fiber will not stop advertising that they have fiber here in Charlotte for $70 a month, and yet it's not in my zip code.
We need to get on Charlotte. How about that? Let's upgrade the Cody's internet, Charlotte.
Shit, get them out in the country, man. Come on out here. Seriously.
All right. So what are the Bears? Look, Bears fans are pumped about DJ Moore.
That had to be the best play of the day. Justin Fields connecting with DJ Moore. One of many times that happened today.
And that was happening early and often too. Like it started off the practice where Justin Fields is, targeting number 2. The 1-2 connection was real in today's practice, and Justin was kind of saying it was a little bit more apparent today than in yesterday. And obviously we didn't get access to that one, but you saw the 1-2 connection was going early and often in today's practice.
Yeah, and then the worst for me is just who wasn't there.
You know what they need to change it to is the 1-2 punch. There you go. That's the 1-2 punch.
Okay, right. Wet blanket again. I just until I see actual competition, I can't really make any judgments.
Also,
like, it looks good, awesome, but
we also have to make a big asterisk here, right? Justin Fields turned it on as a runner last year.
Mm-hmm.
He did not turn it on as a passer. Now, I'm not saying he can't, but Justin Fields did not win those games. And let's be real about it, he didn't win many games. And it may be because of the supporting cast, but he didn't win many games with his arm. Or
I
he didn't
think
even
he's
keep
about
them.
to be good, though.
True. But to be fair, he won his games in college with his arm, not his legs. This legs thing he has in for the pros it surprised everybody. They knew he could run, but not like this. He threw really well in college.
He's awesome. He's gonna be good, dude. He's still. How about this?
He's gonna be good.
The best quarterback out of that class, other than Trevor Lawrence.
I can agree with that.
Yeah. Right? Wasn't that who was that? Zach Wilson,
we passed
Mac
up on.
Jones. We passed up. He's like he's what they want Richardson to be. Right away, right?
I mean look, I know right now it's the popular thing to do for everybody, especially now that the Bears are this newfound rivalry and they're talking lots of shit. But I've said this before. Justin Fields needed a number 1 wide receiver.
Yeah.
DJ Moore needed that consistent quarterback. I'm with Tony, man. Like I think that those two are going to be a good combination. And inevitably, we're going to continue to talk about them because if they do have a good season, and nightmare scenario here, but if Bryce Young doesn't, then the Panthers will have had the opportunity to make that connection of Justin Fields and DJ Moore and chose not to do it. Right. Yeah, but so that's what I'm saying. Like, they're going to continue to draw comparisons to one another, and that's the reason why on the last Friday Free for All, I made the comparison and was asking, who is going to have a better season, Justin Fields and DJ Moore, or Bryce Young and Jonathan Mingo? And, just who has the potential to have a better connection and better numbers between the two of them next year.
God, I need football to be here right now. I need to know the answer to this question. It's going to haunt me for the next 6 months. I'm just going to sit there and go ask that same exact question. So, DJ, our stories are intertwined even more, right? Is that the kind of, so many of us wanted Justin Fields that year. We took JC Horn, passed. But then the other thing is, like, Would Matt Rule have ruined Justin Fields even more than he's already ruined? Would he be better than he is right now? Would Matt Rule still be the coach? Oh, I think it worked out for the best. I just don't want a fool no more. Do we got anything else before the cat goes?
Oh yeah, we're gonna talk about this a little bit. This terrible rule that's been implemented that everyone hates. It looks like it might be the death of the kickoff, as some are saying.
Yeah.
The NFL has passed a new rule insinuating all fair catches and touchbacks come out to the 25-yard line on kickoffs, source said. Now, the same as the college rule, the thought is that this should make it safer, though special teams coaches around the league oppose the change. And yeah, everybody's saying that this is going to be the death of the kickoff. Boys, how do you feel?
Yeah, I mean, that's what they're trying to do, right? I mean, that's what they've been talking about doing ever since, what was it, when they moved it, basically, when they moved it to the 25, where you know, like, so everybody just kicking out of the end zone, everybody made everybody happy at that point. The kickoff is, the return is nowhere what it was like in the early 2000s, late 90s. Like, it was a big part of the game. Like, people would, that was a big giant part of the game, where kickoffs and punt returns and like these would be highlights you saw. You don't see that as much, right? The kickers have gotten better, the punters particularly, but the kickoff has kind of been a fading part of the NFL already. So it doesn't even surprise me. Does it change the game? Like, we could already say that it was already basically like this in a certain way. There will be no kickoffs now, or very few, right? And, or at least I would think, I mean, like, I think, and then it is good for player safety, but you know what it's not good for is people trying to make a roster, because if special teams becomes less and less important, the skill positions only become more and more important, right? You're almost just phasing special teams out in a certain way.
Right.
Yeah. And this leads to the conversation that we were having on the free for all too. It's like, is the modern day game more and more watered down than ever before? And
it's different.
Yeah, it's different. But I mean, this people seem to unanimously be against it. Like, no one is happy about it. You know, look, Kristen Delaney says, tired of watching them water down my favorite sport. It's not the new rules. If it's not the new rules, it's the officiating. And yeah, and they did, by the way, they did say this is a 1-year deal. So they're essentially, this is like a test run year. And by the way, that's why I'm not necessarily that upset over it. If they're willing to do these 1-year trial runs for all of these different rules that they want to implement, to test them out for a year and see if that makes or break the game in a positive way, then yeah, I'm all for it. But I don't know, man. To me, a lot of these changes just seem like it's not doing a whole lot. Like, how are you even making the game safer? If you want to make the game safer, then why are you not implementing grass fields mandatory all over the NFL if it was about player safety? And that's something the players really do care about, rather than some bullshit like this.
What is the XFL kickoff rule?
Yeah, Kev says XFL style kickoff.
Well, I don't want to. If we show it, we'll get like dinged.
But we'll be in the NFL show. We'll be in the NFL show a clip.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, let's hear. We'll do a little research real quick. Right here, I got it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I dude, like I told you before.
This name of this story is how the XFL 2023 rule book is different from the NFL and college football. What you need to know: point after touchdowns. No, what? Oh, of course, as fumbles. This is everything. They don't just have the kick. Oh, what about kickoffs? In an attempt to encourage more returns on kickoffs while maintaining player safety, only the kicker and the returner on kickoff plays will be allowed to move until the ball is caught or after the ball has been on the ground for at least 3 seconds. This will be similar to the way the kickoff was in 2020 XFL season, at the start of the kickoff, both teams will be lined up 5 yards apart.
Oh man.
So they have to sit there and watch each other and wait for this punt return to catch it, or this kickoff. That's interesting. I wonder what it looks like. We'll have to go and watch that, do a little. So where would you be lined up at? It says both teams are 5 yards apart. So what are they on the 45? The 45 each four? Well, no, that would be, or that'd be 10 yards apart. Where the hell would they be? Where are they on the field then? And the kick goes from way back.
Yeah, and then some people were saying like one team would be like they're only going to be like 5 or 10 yards away from each other. So you're eliminating all the big time collisions on downs like that. It just seems dumb. I don't know. I don't hate it because again, if they're doing it for a year, I don't know. To me, it's just hypocritical when you say you're doing it in the name of safety.
And well, they're trying to limit concussions, like we're talking about.
Oh. Yeah, I know, but
if you guys, you sound like such a cryy Panther fan, but they won't have grass fields.
Well, no, that's a big thing. The NFL Players Association is like,
but one costs $1 bazillion to upkeep. One is just changing the.
But these owners have the wherewithal to do it. And if you want your NFL seasons to be played by first stringers instead of a bunch of backups that no one gives a damn about. I was watching Von Miller on Pat McAfee this morning, and he made a good point. He was talking about how the World Cup, it's going to be in Los Angeles in another year or two. Right. And all of those soccer players, they do not play on turf. Like all of those different soccer.
I remember they brought temporary grass
on turf.
Right. So temporary grass to Bank of America.
So all of the things that they say is too expensive for the owners to do, they're going to do for a bunch of soccer players, but they're not going to do it for the best athletes in the world already on the team that you own. It's like, come on, dude. It's the dumbest shit in the world.
All right. The number's 252-228-5098. Smash the thumbs up button. Be a part of the show. Consider being a C3 super fan, supporting us as we go forward. We got a lot of cool things coming in the 2023 season. Just waiting for this football thing to get here, and training camp on the way. Well, we got a couple of days of OTAs, and then we're gonna have like a month and a half of nothing. Nothing. So you think tonight's show is tough? We're gonna have a better show in a month and a half. Let's go into the cat calls. Let's get these fans' thoughts on the rules, on Bryce Young making the top 15, even being a top 10 quarterback. DJ Moore in Chicago. Let's hit these guys.
So what are your thoughts on catcalling?
Yeah, it's pretty. You shouldn't do that to somebody.
And how did that make you feel?
Very uncomfortable.
So how do you think catcalling makes the person feel?
It feels good, like.
Who's that cat sitting in the back corner with his face buried in his nose? Who's that kid that can use one?
Paul Guest Brothers, how y'all doing? G Cavassier. I haven't called in a while. I'm sorry, but we all got personal things to do. Hey,
it's
man,
all good, G.
I got my Bryce Young jersey. That
right.
Came in the mail yesterday, and hey, I tried it on a couple minutes ago. So I got my Bryce Young jersey. And speaking of Bryce Young, I watched his press conference. And Cody, you are so right. This dude said, I don't know how many times.
We gotta talk about this, dude.
And I agree with you, Cody. Somebody needs to tell him, quit saying so much. Look at me. I just said it.
I know, right? I was doing it too,
that
man.
Reminds me of when we had Roman Harper. If you can remember, man, he used to always say at the end of the day, I couldn't stand when people say that crap. At the end of the day,
Bryce Young has a lot, by the way.
We're the Panthers. At the end of the day, we're still men. At the end of the day, okay, man, I get it. Please stop saying at the end of the day.
What about right now?
But OTAs started and everything, and Bryce with the reports are saying he's looking pretty good. But I just heard something, man, online. They saying that Hayden Hurst wasn't there yesterday. I don't know. He was held out. I don't know if he's injured or I don't know. You guys know anything about that? Please, please let it be known. That's all we got to say, man. We got the Falcons the first game, and they're saying we're gonna get our asses kicked by the Falcons Falcons beefed up their daggone defense, we'll see. So give me your thoughts on that, y'all. Keep pounding.
Keep pounding. So are you boys not aware of this? Yet this trend for the Bryce Young? It's actually kind of funny.
I'm not.
If you listen,
comments floating around and some different things.
If you listen to Bryce Young's press conference, literally every 2 or 3 words, and how Valley girls will say like after every other word, like, well, I was like gonna tell him that I was thinking.
It's like somebody who said, if you say I mean, I do I say
yeah, well, it's like if you're paying attention to it, Bryce Young does it so much that once you're looking for it, it makes every interview he does hilarious to listen to when you see the amount of times that he does it. And one of the things that I was pointing out is he doesn't even know that he's doing it. You know what I mean? He's just talking. I mean,
everybody who
right.
Any of us who do these verbal, I used to say when I was probably my wife used to make fun of me for saying, you know what I'm saying? I'd always say that it's like I'd be talking, you know what I'm saying? Like, it'd be like, yeah, is turn left. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like that at the end. And you don't even know you're doing it. It is the like is you know what, you know. And think about how much I love how critical we are too, and how much talking they got to do.
Remind me.
But then I got thrown into this. What do I say all the time?
Right. Oh, I say so all the time. Like when I finish, I'm like, so.
People in the comments have been talking, Greg. Not people. One person said this, and it was, "Is this?" That's what he said. I think it was.
Yeah, because you always. So look, this
what
is.
What do I always say? I don't even know it.
Look, I'll pull up the comment that you shared to the. This must have been under the video that I did when I did the press conference.
It was.
He said, "How are you going to talk about Bryce saying you know too much when Tony says is this?" So I guess you say. I guess you say the thing is this or is this.
I can't.
Like
now,
you say,
now we got to start watching for it. Yep. I got to start watching for it. Is this what we should start watching for?
I don't know, dude. It is funny though. If you like, dude, if I pulled up Bryce Young's press conference right now and just played the first 5 minutes,
let's listen. Let's count.
You want to? You want to?
Let's do a count.
Give me a second to bring it up.
We're gonna play 5 minutes.
I need a bell sound. I wish
there's gonna be a segment right here.
Hold on, let me bring it up.
Need a bell sound. Download bell sound. Oh, I got this.
There you go.
I don't need to download a bell. I have an actual bell. I can't wait to see this.
Be prepared to ring the bell a lot.
All right, I got it. I'm ready.
By the way, I feel mean. I'm not even picking on him. I'm not even.
All we do is hyper talk about the Panthers. What else are we supposed to do right now? What else? Look out! It's adorable.
He doesn't even know that he's doing it. He just needs someone to point it out to him, so that way he can learn.
Y'all keep count.
It was a great experience. It was great to be with the rest of my, some of the rest of my rookie class.
That was one.
Just to go back and have a good weekend. Obviously with the NFLPA, I got a lot of wisdom out of it. But I'm definitely happy to be back.
What did you learn from your conversation with Brady specifically?
Yeah, there's a lot of gems, a lot of nuggets that I was able to take away. I was able to ask some questions about his career, kind of his mindset going towards it. And, for me, obviously being a young quarterback, want to know things that, he wish he knew at this age and, things that he felt like were key for him to have success. I think that's something that is pretty invaluable. So I'm going to keep it to, I'm going to keep it to,
I'm missing that
room. But I definitely took away a lot. Being able to talk to one of the greatest to ever do it is a huge honor and privilege. So I was very grateful for that.
Looking away in the that was 6 of them right there.
Was I? Dang it, man.
Oh, and this is funny. He didn't even realize that in his NFLPA, so all the rookies get together and they take a picture. He wasn't even looking at the camera when they snapped his picture.
Man, I did not know that. But
By the
now
way,
I
it's
know.
also
It was like one picture
for
they took,
me.
and I'm like,
For me, he says for me a lot.
Okay.
I don't know if
Yeah.
I was looking for that one, so I just hope they don't use that. Of course, that's the one they went with.
What was it like being in the uniform, you and Jonathan actually just seeing yourself actually in?
Yeah, I mean, it was surreal. Like you said, first time being in that uniform, seeing our names and numbers on it is crazy. It was definitely a dream come true. So it was a crazy experience, but it was great. It was humbling, but again, it doesn't entitle us to anything. It doesn't entitle us to
I'm
anything.
not
It's cool
even
to be there.
hearing these.
You're not listening right. He says it so fast, dude. You gotta
Rewind
let
it 5 seconds because you just counted 2 and I didn't even hear him. I couldn't hear him at all.
I'm sorry. I forgot I was muted. Yeah, I hear 8 so far. To be honest with you, though, I don't think it's as bad as I thought it was going to be going into it. It's not that bad.
I can't
really
hear.
not.
I didn't hear the last.
He gets bad at some points.
It's
Okay,
at 8 at
I'm
the point we were at.
nitpicking
We
here.
were at
Seeing
8.
our names and numbers on it is crazy. It was definitely a dream come true. So it was a crazy experience, but it was great. It was humbling, but again, it doesn't entitle us to anything.
Two.
It doesn't entitle me to anything. It was cool to be there, and being in the jersey is
Two.
definitely an honor. But that's not really where
Four.
that's not where I want to end. I
Five.
want to do everything I can to help the
Five.
team. So getting back here today and starting that process was great.
What did you take away from today? What was today like? First day of OTAs where you out there with basically everyone?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Just being able to compete, us fly around a little bit. This being the first time that we were against the defense, and being able to go and play fast and go at a at a full speed tempo it was great. Obviously last week it was against the coaches and walking through stuff, but being able to take the meeting room out into the practice field, it was a lot of fun. So
Four.
a lot of competition, a lot of
Five.
us getting after it. So it was a fun day.
I'm at 6.
Picking up from Andy so far, and what has he kind of told you about adjusting to the NFL?
Yeah, I mean, I'm in there trying to pick Andy's brain as much as I can. He's a great, he's a great vet. Obviously, has had a bunch of success throughout his career. Someone who super smart, super intelligent. You see why he's been able to have the success he's had for such a long period of time. So for me, it's it's a great opportunity every day to come in. I'm asking him a bunch of questions. I'm watching him with the operation, how he how his feet are, how his eyes are. When he comes back, he'll talk and say why he went there, why he went. And for me, I'm trying to soak all that in. And really how he carries himself, how he conducts himself, the pre-snap operation, all that stuff is stuff he's been doing for years and years on the league, and it shows. Whenever I see it, it's clear.
It's so fast I can't hear it.
I know, but dude,
it's like he comes with a sneak. When you're
Look.
you're like processing the last. He sneaks in in there.
Yeah,
Because
they're bunched together.
I don't
They
think it
come in
sounds bad, though,
bunches.
to be honest with you. He doesn't sound like he's speaking bad. Or speaking bad. I think it's.
We've got people saying
Cameron
we need,
Green says
t-shirts.
a drinking game would be deadly.
It would be. It would be.
That and a Bryce Young t-shirt. I like that. We got to figure out how to make that one.
If you know, you know.
we knew. Once you know. We knew. All right, Bryce Young. What else is he talking about here? I might as well.
And by the way, it is contagious. You're right, Christian. Now we're saying, So,
all right. Well, you want to go? Do you want to go to the next call?
I do.
Yes. This is Antoine from Stockburg, and I think one of the best running backs in the past 15 years. They had like 2 or 3 seasons. My man in Kansas City, Mr. Priest Holmes. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Man, nice calling in. When did we do? Was that Friday free for all?
Yeah, that was on a Friday free for all. We were talking about the best
Brown,
running back that you've ever seen with your eyes.
Oh yeah, Priest Holmes for him.
Yeah.
He was great for a little bit, and then Larry Johnson had a couple seasons.
Yeah, shout out to Antoine, man. Thank you for the call.
All right, let's go to the next call.
Good evening, C3 family. This is Cody. My question tonight is,
what
starter do you see that can lose snaps or potentially their job to either a rookie or a younger player. Love y'all, boys. Thank you for what you do.
Appreciate you, Colby. I said mine earlier. I said CJ Henderson.
I agree.
Yeah, I think CJ Henderson isn't in a position, and especially again, I'll continue to say this name, Rajon Wright. He's an undrafted free agent, tall, fast, long, plays well in man.
We're talking any position on the team.
Can I tell you your least favorite answer to this, Cody?
Go ahead.
Brady
I know what you're
Christensen.
gonna say.
Ooh.
What? Oh, no.
I didn't see that.
You're going somewhere else.
For
that, yeah.
You're foul for that. How dare you, sir?
Can I ask? Is wide receiver in that realm? Because if you drafted Mingo and Mingo's beats what was said wide receiver, we have TMJ
Chenault.
Chenault. There you go.
Maybe. I think it's that DJ Johnson kid, maybe, and Yetur Gross-Matos or Yitter, man. Maybe he has. I'm not done with him yet. I mean, he has. How will he fit into this system? But you got to be watching that. You know, somebody got on me, got on me. Somebody brought this up, and I wanted to actually. This is a good way to segue to this. One of the comments on one of the YouTube videos was, "You guys got to stop calling Brian Burns a defensive end. He's not a defensive end. In the 3-4 system, he's an outside linebacker." I was wondering about that. What do you think about that? Do we have to, like, is that just how it's written on a piece of paper? Is his life going to be any different? I mean, yeah, like schematically, there will be some differences of him standing up rather than hand in the dirt, right? But we've played a lot of 3-3-5. We've played a lot of these. He's not a different player though,
right?
No.
So is there really a difference? I know there is, because and clearly on a technical level, when you're a defensive end in a 3-4, you're on the end, but you're more like a fast interior lineman, right? You're more like a D lineman than you are a defensive end, though, in so many ways. But what do you guys think is Brian Burns? How much is going to be different for him in this new defense?
I mean,
did you ever think he was a defensive end? I would have called him edge then. And what has it been, an edge rusher?
I'm gonna go with whatever it says on his football card.
Okay.
Like whatever position it has him at a football card on his football card, I'll go with that.
What do you think about that, Cody? Is the difference more than for Brian Burns going to be more than just the label of DN versus OLB?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, his primary role for the Panthers is still going to be a pass rusher.
Right.
So it's like, I don't know. I mean, maybe he's going to be in less position to be setting a physical edge, but I don't know. Even then, you still have to be able to set an edge, even if you're a linebacker. So I don't know. I mean,
I don't think of Von Miller as an outside linebacker.
Yeah, but
I think in my head, though, I think of him as a defensive. Yes, I know he is technically, but they do what defensive ends do in a 4-3. Yeah, that's why linebacker is the highest paid position in the league, because they count.
I thought he was a DN too.
But like I know on paper it's called that, but Von Miller ain't out there running routes. He's every down trying to get to the pass rusher, to the passer. I'm saying, I guess my question is this: what is different philosophically about what they're going to do?
I mean, his hands. He's never going to have his hands in the dirt. I mean, he's going to be from a standing position when he rushes. Again, I don't know that it is going to be too much different. But
interesting.
Volguy says they called him Edge now, or Leos. And yeah, I mean, he's going to be an edge defender. He's going to have to do things from a different formation. I think the run fits are going to be a little bit different for him, but I don't know. I don't know how much of a change it'll really be for him.
Okay.
I'm hoping that it produces the best results that we've ever seen for Brian Burns.
Right. As we all do.
Totally. But those results are going to be in sacks. There's
And
no
that's the thing
other
that's tough, too,
measurement
is-
that you're not going to be like, oh man, he had 3 interceptions next year.
And this is, this is a part of, being wanting to get paid like a superstar. You got to play like a superstar. And it's a bit unfair to a degree, because name anybody else on this defensive line who's going to draw as much of attention as Brian Burns will. Brian Burns is going to be double teamed. He's going to be they're going to do everything. Their entire defense on their offensive line, rather, is going to, any of our opponents, their main focus on their number one thing they're going to talk about is Brian Burns.
Agreed. So let me
That's
ask
what
y'all
they
then.
did last year too.
What is the number next year in this new defense that Brian Burns has to hit, sacks, tackles wise, to make y'all
11.
feel like this guy? 11?
11. He's got to hit
Okay.
double digits.
Yeah, but to me it needs to be even more than that. Like
More
I
than
want,
He's only gotten 10 once.
I know, but I want him to be
He
in
had
the
12 and a
15
half
range.
last year.
I want him to be in the
So
15.
11's your number, Tony? Well, 12 and a half last year?
Yeah, I think if you get double digits, man, multiple years in a row, I'm down with you.
Okay.
I don't need him to get Hassan Reddick numbers, but if he gets 12 or 13 sacks, yeah, I mean, like if you're 11 sack a year, dude, then you're a star.
See, I disagree. I think that if he needs to hit Hassan Reddick numbers, you know why? Because we picked him over Hassan Reddick. So he needs. That's the
Hassan
same
Reddick
Justin.
had
It's the same
like
Justin Fields, Bryce Young argument right there.
17 tackles last year. I mean, sacks last year.
That's what I'm saying. So
they said,
he needs
did
to
you
put up
hear
his
the
numbers.
defensive coordinator, what they said about Hassan Reddick? He said he probably could have had 25 if I didn't drop him back into coverage so much. That's what the coordinator said. Like, and that's what I don't understand is like Brian Burns in coverage is a waste. Every time he's going to be going after a quarterback. He better not be in coverage.
I mean,
all right, let's go. I want to hear your thoughts, guys, on the difference between Brian Burns as a defensive end, Brian Burns as an outside linebacker. What is it going to look like? How different will it be? Numbers 252-228-5098.
Good evening, gentlemen. Baby Rhino here in Jamestown. Haven't called in a little bit, but first I want to give a congratulations to Cody on his new addition to the family.
Thank you, my
that's
dude.
awesome. Glad she's healthy. Yeah, I hadn't called you guys in a little bit, just kind of stewing on everything that's been going on. Draft night was non-emotional for me as far as everything going on. I'm more of a got to see it to believe it type person.
Yeah.
But I think we're heading in the right direction.
Thank you. That's what I feel.
Just been listening to a lot of radio today about the fair catch rule on what's going on, and a lot of concern about whether this will affect special teams and whatnot. I just didn't know if you guys had heard that and want to know your opinion on that, and how it will affect, roster. They're talking about how it's going to affect the roster and whatnot. But other than that, you guys keep doing what you're doing. I'm still listening. Just don't call as much. Keep pounding. Guys, do the favor of liking and subscribing for these guys because they do it day in, day out. Keep the C3 thing going. Appreciate what you guys do. And again, keep pounding.
Thanks for the call, baby Rhino.
Yeah, thank you, dude.
Thank you for the support, everybody in the chat room. And shout out to Dominique, who for $1.99 shout out to Love Bomb said, don't forget, teams are going to have to double Derek Brown.
True.
Is Derek Brown's going to need to be a player on this team, which we think he's been available for 3 years straight. It's kind of improved every year. It would be nice to see him stud out too. Like you need some other force up the middle. And so that will be great. When it comes to the special teams, if they do keep this number keep this for the long term, right? Like say it goes beyond this season. That means like people like Ted Ginn Jr. out of a job. Ted Ginn Jr. would have never existed.
Right. Beyond this, what is the point of not
just take it
doing
on
a
the
touchback
25 every time.
Yeah, what is the point of not doing that? There's
Like,
no point.
Don't even have to spend a lot of money on your special teams.
At this
You
point.
can
Why
put
do a
all your
kickoff?
money at. Yeah.
Why do a kickoff?
Just
start
give it to
25
along the
yard line.
25. Well,
Yeah.
that's what a lot of people thought it was going to go to at one.
It should.
Like, I mean,
It
10
should.
years
Why
ago,
do
do you
a kickoff?
remember when they were when the league was in all the trouble for concussion? Like when people were talking about it nonstop, they made the movie. Like it's still going on. You remember they were taking people out of games all the time. It's not as the focus was, the cultural
depends on the
focus
player
has
to take
just
them out of the game or
moved a little. So it's not like as urgent as it felt in whatever that was, 2012. But you could see that there was that was what people were saying was the game was going to a decade ago. So this is an incremental step towards that. But I just think as a team, you wouldn't have to invest monetarily
in a return guy.
Like, it's like it's just kind of a formality to get it done. You could do all and so then it puts more money into players who are going to make a difference, right? So the 10% of your salary cost that you save by not having to pay anybody anything on special teams, you then shift that over. Hopefully, I mean that goes to wide receivers to the skill position, so it would diminish. The roster would really only be 25 people that were important.
Right.
There is only one reason that just popped in my head that I can think of. They wouldn't take the kick away completely because it doesn't matter. Actually two, I guess, that kind of go into the same thing. One's kind of surprise play. Like I imagine everybody's going to take a touchback, but in the chance they don't and they do a return, it'll be something that's not normally
right.
Now,
like
it'll
the
be a
one,
surprise. And
12
two,
people will try it next week.
Right. And two, if you take away that kick, then you take away the opportunity of pulling a John Casey and kicking it out of bounds on the kickoff and getting the penalty on the 4-yard line. So you can't take the kick away because of that. You can't take that penalty away.
Take it away.
No, I agree. After
I want to take that kick
trust
away.
Me, I lived through that. I definitely wish they would have been taken away. Would have never been a rule. But
third person in the chat saying Vol guy here. Third person in the chat said that the XFL kickoff format is a positive.
What is their format?
So they line up 5 yards apart from each other. There's a kicker somewhere. I guess he's in the middle, wherever he kicks from. And then there's a returner. So the teams themselves are more like rugby players at this point, right? No running. They cannot move. They cannot move their bodies until the catch has been made or the ball's been on the ground for 3 seconds. So what this does is like nobody. So then only the returner and the kicker can move before the ball is caught. So you take away running starts, you grind it down, and you make a tackle. They probably bring it out. There's a chance that if you field it right there, and you could probably get it to 30. It's more of instead of hitting home runs, you're not like running full speed. They're taking away the giant. So it actually.
Kevin sent me a 15-second video. It should be okay. You want to watch it?
Yeah.
It's only 15 seconds.
Is 3 people have been saying that. So this is.
I'm going to turn the volume off.
So this is the XFL kickoff.
Okay. So they are. Hold on. Pause. They are on the
35
receiving team is on their 30-yard line. The kickoff team is on the opposing team's 35. All right. Now they're kicking the ball from the third, like back where they kick, where they start running from, actually. All right. So the kicker does as all right. So kick. All right. See it. All right.
He kicked that from the 30.
Okay. I kind of like that.
So how is that an onside kick, or is that just a kickoff? That's what.
That was a regular.
No, but that's the kickoff now.
That's the kickoff after a touchdown, right?
I like that because you can break through that wall and have a return. I like that.
But they would be dropping that kick a lot deeper in the NFL.
Probably.
Where did he kick that to? He didn't kick 15, it, but to the 25.
15,
yeah,
20,
and if
like
you're,
that,
wouldn't you always?
He kicked it from the 20 to the 15.
Yeah. Well, if you're in a, you know what? But NFL, wouldn't we just?
So 65 yards.
We would just kick it out of the end zone every time. Imagine a kicker not having to worry about having to do coverage down later. He's gonna be kicking that out of the whole damn stadium. There would never be a all right. That'd be interesting.
I like that
think
kickoff was part of the game.
Good.
Take it away, and I completely might be done with the NFL. I like that.
All right. Yeah. Oh, that's what if we tried it on the kickoff every year? Just see if we did the first play of the game and then you did the rest of them.
What if you made every team required to do like 3 onside kicks a game? That'd be great. I'd love it. I'd love it.
All right. Anthony, I got one. It's 11:11. I always look at the clock.
Same.
Let me see. Here we go. That's Anthony.
What's up, C3? It's Anthony from Charlotte.
What's up, Anthony?
Not much to talk about. Just wanted to call in. Hope you guys are doing good. Literally just wanted to ask a question. There's been a debate on Twitter going around today about the wide receiver room. Personally, I knew that since they didn't invest that much in the wide receiver room after trading DJ Moore, I knew we were going to pick Bryce Young because that's one of his biggest selling points is spreading the ball around and finding the open man, not needing a top-tier receiver to thrive in an offense. So I just wanted to get your guys' thoughts on what the wide receiver room is going to look like this year. Do you guys think it could be a top 15 unit overall, or do you agree it's in the bottom half? Me personally, looking at it right now, I would say it's in the bottom half and it's below average. But here's the thing. We really don't know what Terrence Marshall or Jonathan Mingo is going to be, and we'll probably not know for another 2 years at least. So that's just all I got to say. Nothing else really to talk about. It's kind of dead in the waters right now in terms of news. Bryce Young, they talk glowingly about him in OTAs. I mean, makes sense. This kid is wicked smart. I've been telling y'all this. But anyways, I'm just the messenger. Anthony from Charlotte, keep motherfucking pounding.
Hell yeah.
No, I'm happy that Anthony called in because I wanted to talk to you guys about this. This was a discussion on Twitter today that Panther fans are not being honest with themselves, that we have a below average wide receiver core going into the season. And I disagreed with this because you can say that we have a lot of unknowns, and yeah, that's fine. And, DJ Chark has dealt with injuries before, and we don't know what Terrace Marshall Jr. is yet. We believe that he's going to be a good football player based on what he was able to do down the stretch last year.
Right.
But a lot of people are saying Adam Thielen's old, over the hill, Jonathan Mingo, second-round pick, basically saying that that's below average. Well, I'm saying you cannot say below average when you do not know what these players are capable of when they're performing healthy at their highest level. Like, to say below average is like, based on what? Below average is what the Baltimore Ravens have been doing for the past couple of years at wide receiver, or what the Carolina Panthers did when Cam Newton was the quarterback and never just meaningfully upgrading the wide receiver position with top-tier talent while we had the opportunity to do so. So, no, I disagree. I don't think that our wide receiver core is below average. It's a little bit of unknown, but it's not below average.
Well, and I want to touch on that too, because Anthony, I love you, man, but I got to call you out on this. When you say we didn't do much to improve the wide receiver core, we drafted a second-round receiver that could have gone first and is considered to be a good receiver, Adam Thielen and DJ Chark, who are proven to be good players. I think we tremendously increased our wide receiver core. I think we addressed it very well to draft 2 free agents that were proven and a rookie wide receiver that's going to be really good. I mean, the only question I can ask with this is, if you say that we're below average now, and I can understand that, that's fine. Were we below average with DJ Moore? And if so, are we more below average than then?
I want to weigh that here. I'm going to ask it like this. Is the wide receiver group this year better than it was last year?
Yes.
Yes. Overall, yes. We don't have a better player than we did top end last year, but overall, we're a better wide receiver.
We have
this year.
more potential this year than we had last year. Like last year's, we had a pretty high, pretty mediocre ceiling. This year, our ceiling is astronomical.
Agreed.
Yeah, I mean, I would take this year's receiving core over last year just because last year we were starting with Chosen Anderson.
Yeah,
You know what I
I'll tell you
mean?
something
Like,
too. If you're a Bryce Young fan and you think he's going to be really good, you better hope we have a good wide receiving core. Because
we
if we
didn't
don't,
even
then he's not
have
going to do nothing.
Chosen last year.
Yeah, we did.
We did.
We traded him that season
to Arizona.
So, all right, then
that's how
he
long ago
was-
that season feels.
right.
What, 2021?
What'd you say?
He was. He had. Oh wait, let's see. His catches in 2021 season, he had 53 catches, 519 yards, 5 touchdowns.
Yep.
All right, that's not that hard to replace. He's not even in the league right now, is
No.
he? Or maybe he might be.
No,
with
he
the
went
Dolphins.
to the Dolphins.
Okay.
Yeah, he went to the Dolphins.
His
So he won't
only
play.
he had. So you could say this is DJ Moore here. The last time Chosen Anderson, DJ Moore, Curtis Samuel. That was 2020.
Yeah.
Is this room worse than that, or better than that?
Better.
No way. You can't say better.
Yes.
Curtis Samuel was good that year.
No, you guys cannot blow TMJ up my ass every week and then tell me and then not say right now we're not better.
No,
I'm sorry.
saying
Well,
Every
we've never
week.
even seen him
Yeah.
play.
And everybody
But
said that
every
Curtis
week you guys
Samuel
talk about how
never
great he is, though.
like Curtis Samuel never ever lived up to whatever his potential
He
was
had
supposed to be.
he had a
here.
good year
So,
that 2020 season, and he was good last year for he had 77 catches, 851 yards, 3 touchdowns, 41 rushes, 200 yards, 2 touchdowns. We were good that year. We had 2 1,000-yard receivers and Anderson, Moore, Samuel. That's better than our group right now.
No.
Okay. I disagree.
It's
okay on this. Yeah.
Listen, here's the reason that I would say this. Number one, again, none of
Until you hear 2019.
I have nothing against DJ Moore. Like I love DJ Moore. I think he could be a great wide receiver, but I think he has a ceiling and he's hit that ceiling. I don't think DJ Moore gets much better outside of getting balls to him, right? In stride or what have you. But I don't think DJ Moore is a Justin Jefferson style player, right? Here's my argument. When you look at our team, and here's the thing, right now I'm betting on the upside of what our team's wide receiving core looks like right now. And we have Terrace Marshall Jr., who, if he can remain healthy, can have a breakout year. And you've got to keep in mind, he was the number one, like he was producing more than Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase in that LSU offense before he got hurt. Right. So we're not talking about a guy who is just a second round pick that's okay. Like he was a good wide receiver in college and he showed some flashes last year. And so I think he has a lot of upside. Mingo has a lot of upside. Adam Thielen is a surgeon with his route running, and DJ Chark has a tremendous upside if he can stay healthy. I think that if you look at what they, if we build the offense correctly, adding in the fact that we have Hayden Hurst and the fact that we have Miles Sanders, who's going to make sure that defense isn't just playing, is having to account for an extra receiver out of the backfield. I think that that's going to make this wide receiving core head and shoulders better than anything we've seen, even in the Cam Newton's era.
I think it's more to answer your question, Cody, about the below average. Right now, we probably don't have any reason to believe we are above average. Right. I mean, now there are potential for us to be above average, but
not yet. Yeah.
But I think what the real story behind this is just how historically bad the Carolina Panthers wide receiving core is. I think 2021, you could say two 1,000-yard receivers. Robbie Anderson, we thought he was about to be good for a while. DJ Moore and Curtis Samuel scoring touchdowns. I mean, if you go back to 2018, the 2019 was worse. It was Jarris Wright, it was DJ Moore, and one other person who was Curtis Samuel, I think. This is 2018, Devin Funchess, DJ Moore was a rookie, and Curtis Samuel. That's not even that hard to beat. What I'm saying is I don't know if the Panthers wide receiver group is below average, but I know for the last decade or forever it's been below average. It's not hard to beat right now.
Can I just say that comparing these stats right now, I'm looking at DJ Moore and DJ Chark because I think Chark's going to be a big wide receiver for us this year. DJ Chark's played 40 games and has 18 touchdowns. DJ Moore's played 73, so almost twice the amount of games, has 21. And if you compare the yards, if you made DJ Chark with the yards he has play as many games as DJ Moore, he'd have almost as many yards and many more touchdowns than DJ Moore did. I'm
that
just
was
saying.
always the knock on DJ Moore is he was not a red zone threat at all.
DJ Chark has a chance to be a really good wide receiver for us.
Right.
Man. I'm telling
And
you,
that's
he's
a great
wide
point.
receiver.
If DJ Chark is able to stay healthy, like all you have to do is look at the guy's film, look at some of his highlights. The dude can take the top off of a defense. He can pinpoint the football in the air. He can high point it, go up, bring the football down. He is, he's a beast. If he can stay healthy, him paired with Terrace Marshall Jr. and Jonathan Mingo, like we have some real big bodied, strong burners that can really do some damage for us this year. That's why I have a problem. Right. Then you add in Chanel. I really have a problem with saying below average. I mean, again, everyone has to go out there and prove it. Like I've said before, it's going to be prove it season once more. But yeah, I mean, I think we have the potential to be a very dynamic, maybe one of the most dynamic receiving corps in recent history for the Panthers. Anthony Piccarello with the $5 is what I meant was we didn't go out and get a top end number one wide receiver because Bryce has proven to be good with okay guys. We have potential in Mingo, Terrace Marshall Jr. However, it's untapped potential.
Okay. I don't think we have. What do you mean we didn't go? Who was out there to go get?
DeAndre.
You could have got DeAndre. Yeah.
Here,
which, by the way,
this
theoretically, they still
could.
could.
But that's but honestly, isn't that the only person out there you could have gotten that was like a number one solid? We got this guy to go with our number
still
one.
Do it, yeah. I don't think there was a person on the market. Odell,
no,
coming
Odell's
off
not
an
that guy
injury,
anymore.
right? We're just coming off an injury. I mean, I don't even know if it's that easy to say. In fact, we kind of did. We went and got a wide receiver in the second round. It's probably as aggressive as you could get without trading up to get a guy that a lot of people didn't. Here to pivot a little bit though on related. Friday, April 21st. This was the trivia question. What wide receiver recovered an onside kick with 1:49 remaining to seal Carolina's 2013 win over the Washington in week 2016 of 2020? Wow, what a loaded question, because I wanted to bring this up. This win prevented us from getting Justin Herbert.
Oh, that was that was when. Read the question again.
All right, what wide receiver recovered an onside kick with 1:49 remaining to seal Carolina's 2013 win over Washington in week 16 of 2020?
2013 win in 2020.
So we would have. This was Matt Rule's rookie season. This was the year that Teddy Bridgewater was a quarterback. This was the year.
No,
DJ
2013 was not Matt Rule's rookie season.
No, this is in 2020, the season.
I'm sorry, I thought you said 2013.
The score was 20-13 over Washington.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
You said, no, you said no.
So I wasn't the only one. Good deal, Cody.
I'll read it one more time.
No, you said 20-13. Me and Greg understood 2013.
Right. That was our fault, I think, but it was understandable.
Okay.
He's probably saying the score was 2013, like he was saying.
Right.
Over. So we beat Washington, the Washington Commanders. Ron Rivera. We beat Ron Rivera in Washington, or it was here in Carolina, I think. And we beat them because this wide receiver recovered an onside kick. So a Carolina
Marshall
Panther.
Jr.
Birdie Bird.
No, we've been DJ Moore.
DJ
Was it
Moore.
So this is DJ Moore. So think about this moment right here. We could have had DJ Justin Herbert to DJ Moore because of this moment right here. The other pivot was speaking of quarterbacks without this, I was thinking as we were talking about the top 20 wide receivers. Remember we did the list on the Friday free for all, Cody, of like, if could you name 20 receivers ahead of DJ Moore? Guess who one team that didn't have a receiver on that list that I think is also related to our story? Trevor Lawrence in Jacksonville has receivers, but he doesn't have a big name at all. Zay Jones, ECU Pirate, he's out there doing it with the law firm in a certain sense.
He's got somebody paid like a top 20 wide receiver out there.
Ingram. He got Ingram. He's got Christian Kirk.
Yeah.
So look, he doesn't have a top receiver. Christian Kirk, Zay Jones. They've got the homeboy from Atlanta coming.
Imagine if you gave him one though.
Right. I was thinking about that.
Imagine if he had one.
And he was on in our top whatever. Trevor Lawrence. This is kind of talking about how good I'm trying to say. We got him listed as our sixth quarterback overall.
6 or 7, yeah.
Yeah,
it was him and Herbert that we were fighting over.
And he's doing it with an ECU, Zay Jones, Christian Kirk. Now he's got the dude who got suspended for gambling from Atlanta, who
Calvin
was
Ridley.
who was in DJ Moore's class.
Calvin Ridley, yeah.
And Marvin Jones. He got Evan Ingram. Kudos to Trevor Lawrence getting it done down there. Doug Peterson. All right, that's all the calls. Let's get into the news. As Cody pulls up the bumper, this fun fact for you. On April 22nd, 1995, the Panthers drafted Penn State quarterback Kerry Collins, who is now part of a famous dress, number 5 overall with their first pick in the NFL draft. This year, we drafted Bryce Young with the number 1 overall. Let's go.
All right.
In the news right now, we've talked about this. So we talked about
this is more of
the kick. What else we got up there? This was from last week. I must not have deleted that one. Go one more.
No, we did that one.
Here we go.
Yep.
First bit of news. Not a slow news cycle for the NFL. After an offseason in which he requested to be traded, star running back Austin Eckler staying in Los Angeles, having close to $2 million in incentives added to his deal this season per source. Win-win. Chargers keep their running back and Eckler be a free agent after this season at age 28. Not a win-win. They just got incentives. He lost. He tried to get traded. He tried to get paid. He's not going to get paid. He's 28 years old now. He's going to get no money. This is it.
No way. Are you kidding me? That's a great win for him. He gets to get the paid for his final year of his contract. He gets to add $2 million to that. And 28 is a sweet age to sign your last big deal as a running back. If he balls out this year, he'll get one more big contract and be done.
Okay.
That's perfect.
Well, he hasn't had a big contract yet. So, all right. And he might. All right. So, what else? Austin Eckler. Kind of the holdout. This shows you this is they didn't budge. They weren't budging. Nobody went and traded for him. Nobody went out. People kind of learned their lesson when they run about.
That nobody want to trade for.
He's
him.
older. I mean, just look. We got
28 old though. Is it?
Yes. We got Booby. We got Booby Miles, and he's 25. He's like the oldest guy. We just got. Isn't that his nickname, Booby? Pretty sure. Miles Sanders. I think Miles Sanders' nickname is Booby. I think his nickname.
Could know if he Booby had one of the top 5 running backs in the league last year, so I'll take him.
This is interesting to me as the NFL continues to try to expand their international footprint. We know games in Germany now, England, Mexico City. The New Orleans Saints, our foes, have been granted international marketing rights in France, the first NFL club to select and be awarded the French market.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, obviously the French connection. I just didn't know that they like assigned these countries teams.
Did we get assigned Germany then?
It's like this is your country. Like we're ambassador. The
Right.
NFL are now world ambassadors.
Well, didn't we play in London before though?
We played in London, but we weren't.
Right.
I don't think we were the home team in London.
Right. We're not the home team this year. Oh, actually, yeah, we are. This is a home game.
Where
This year
would
in
you
Germany,
want
right?
our if you could have your
know.
choice, if you can have your choice of which international market was the Panthers market, which one would you choose? So basically, yearly vacation, we get to go to this country.
Dude, the more and more I'm hearing is that Germany has the fucking crazy fan base. And apparently there's a lot of Panther fans in Germany too. So probably Germany. Huh?
Well, England has a lot of Panther fans.
Nope. I'd go way off the wall. I'd go Nigeria and be the Panthers. You know, because
you
Panthers
are trying to
Nigeria, I don't
become
know.
the Black Panther.
Yeah, wait, whatever, man. That works for me. That'd be cool.
I'm down. I'm down.
Continent, yeah.
Let's go to Ghana. Let's go to
be
Nigeria.
the team of that continent. Exactly.
Cameroon.
I don't know.
I'm
I
down.
would like, where is a great party country? I think we should be Amsterdam. Give us that one.
Yeah, red light district.
All right.
I would say yes, but we're talking about a team that's in North Carolina. Like, they're not super quick to make the changes like Amsterdam to make themselves more open-minded like they are in Amsterdam. So I wouldn't say
Fair
that
point.
connection makes sense. I would go. I think Germany is a great one. I think Germany Germany might be the one.
Especially with Frank Reich. Oh yeah.
But they're all kind of related. Those people, like the Dutch, the Belgians, the Dutch are weird. Denmark. I mean, my favorite countries I've ever been in. Denmark is a fun one to go to. But look, Paris is like one of my favorite cities in the world. I don't know where you would get to
there.
Well, I mean, I think I'm just trying to say what would be our favorite country that that you knew that there was a big fan base. Brazil got hot chicks. I don't know. We have to have a reason.
No, that's right. I changed my vote to Brazil.
Yeah.
No, bro, I'm down. I'm down. And I want to be by the beach. I want some tropical alcoholic drink, dude.
Yeah.
We're
Brazil.
fucking going to
All right.
Rio.
I think that's all we got in the news.
But hold on, let's ask.
Okay.
Where do Panthers originate? Shouldn't it be that country?
Spain?
I don't know, to be honest with you. That's a good question. Google.
Wherever there are leopards and jaguars, there are panthers.
I love how you guys say jaguars.
What did you say? Oh,
Jaguars. We've had this before.
Panthers originate. They're native to Asia, Africa, and the Americas.
Dude, I'm all down for Japan. Let's do it.
Hey, I called it Africa. Right there you go.
Hey, but the Americas, that's Brazil.
That's true.
Let's go to Brazil. I'm dying. My
So
vote
Brazil
is
or
Brazil.
Nigeria. Those are the answers.
By the way, in England, I'm sorry, the food I don't think is the greatest. Sorry to all of our English viewers. That's just a rumor I've heard. And there's a lot of rain. I know that there's a lot of rain over in the UK, man. I would rather go where there's some sun and there's some beautiful people.
And some giant booties. And where giant booties grow on.
There is no bias
trees.
in this opinion at all.
That would be my reason. All right, I think that's it in the news. Yeah, is that it?
No, that's the last one.
All right,
That's cool.
we are done with the calls. We are done with the show, except for the longest running segment on the longest running Panthers podcast. It's the C3 Panthers podcast, and that segment is Ice Up. Let's ice some fools up. Our homage to Steve Smith. Go check him out. Cut to it tomorrow night or tomorrow. Send Muhammad up there.
Ice up, son. Ice up.
One thing about the Ice Up segment, folks, by the way, is where we tell someone to ice up, toughen up to get it together. Anyone's fair game. You get a call out. We're going to have a little fun on this topic. Somebody said this is when we're in Nigeria, be swatting flies. You know, the one cool thing if Nigeria was our market, do we get those cool? The only thing I like about soccer is those cool, crazy horns they got. They're like the ones that like, or the ball. Like I love the horns that they have.
Yeah,
and they have that. I think that thing that makes that crazy noise. I got a couple of things, so that would definitely be the cool part about it for me, guys. Icing up people. Who do you guys got on the slate for today?
Why don't y'all go first? So I got more than one. I want to make sure I have.
Oh, good.
I'll go real quick then. Mine's personal, and I kind of spoke with y'all about this before. So I have my truck right now, and we were going to go down to Camp Lejeune this weekend to see my sister because they're getting stationed in San Diego in like 2 weeks, and I was going to go see them. We got their dog. We're watching their dog for them. I was going to drive my truck, so I was like, well, let me get the oil changed and, make sure all the fluids are full, do what you're supposed to do before you go on a big road trip. Cool. Let me go and do this. My wife went and got the oil changed, cool. So she went and did this, and they overfilled my oil, and I have the video showing it. They overfilled my oil, and because of that, I blew a rear main gasket or rear main seal on my truck. It's a pretty expensive repair, and the truck's not really like the newest truck, so it's maybe not even worth it. But the main thing is these guys are trying to act like they didn't. And I asked them when I was on the phone before, I said, okay, I bring my truck in and it does not have this leak. You fill the oil, and then you have on video the person who was filling the oil say they read one side of the dipstick and it was full, but on the other side of the dipstick it wasn't, is what they said. So they went back and got 2 more quarts of oil and filled 2 more quarts of oil, and then they actually went back another time and got more. So they overfilled the engine. There was white smoke coming from the engine. There was the smell of oil burning. It was overfilled. This causes a blown seal. Like if it's just one of the things that it can do. I'm not gonna say it happened because of that. So I'm talking to the guy and I'm asking him, if I came in and it wasn't like this and I left and it was, the only explanation is this happened because you did this, or by chance, the exact second that I left your shop was the second that my rear main gasket gave out because of normal wear.
Because it's like at 9 million
Yeah.
PSI or something.
Yeah, exactly.
There's
Like,
so much
that's
oil
the
in
only
that
chance
thing.
that it gave
It's
out
just about to
right
explode.
then. And so right now it's under an investigation, and they're going to look into it. But I'm not going to lie, man. I kind of want to take legal pursuit in this. If they don't fix it, if they don't say, yeah, we did this, I kind of think I want to, lawyer up and
I would
go with it. And I'm not going to be suing them for damages and everything else. I'm out of a truck, but luckily enough, I have another vehicle that works for me right now. But I'm not going to be suing them for that. I just want them to fix it. If you messed up, fix it. Admit to it.
That seems fair.
And I mean, it seems fair, right? I don't want extra money for pain and suffering. I don't want any of this. Just fix it, and I'll be cool. We can go our separate ways and everything. But to them, I'm not going to put their name out there because they have not figured out what the investigation is, and I don't want to do that anyway. Like, I don't want to badmouth these people, even though I feel like this is kind of a BS thing. And it makes it worse because the guy I was talking to on the phone said, well, just so you know, I have a cousin who has his own shop at his backyard, and he could fix this for you for a few $1,000s. And I'm like, how convenient is that you break something that your cousin can fix for me for a few $1,000s out of his backyard? That seems pretty convenient. Y'all know me, tinfoil hat. It just seems convenient. So to them, I'm icing them up. Not going to say the name right now, but next week you might know the name. That's all I'm saying. So ice up.
All right.
I used to work for this Indian dude, and when he got pissed off about shit like this, anything happened to him in his life, he would take them to small claims court. It cost $90. And he said this, I'm just going to take them to small claims court just to fuck their day up. Like, I don't even expect to get any money out of this. I'm going to pay $90 to get
I might
back
do
at
that
these
too.
assholes.
To be honest with you, yeah. I might do that too. Yeah.
And then you always just sue them for right under whatever the amount of money is under. I lost. All right. Fuck y'all. All right. Ice up to them. CK, you got anything?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna ice up, myself. And this is maybe just if there's one thing I've learned in life is you can plan as much as you want in life. And, no matter what your beliefs are, if you're a believer in a higher power, they're going to laugh at you and they're going to make, your plans rarely work, right? What do they say? You plan, God laughs. And so it's not necessarily plans, but, that I'm talking about today. But the hope was after my son was born, he was a great sleeper, like fantastic sleeper. Got so much sleep, more than I thought we were going to get. It was just a great experience. And at least from my perspective, my wife has a much different experience with Blake. But so we just had our baby girl. She's 4 weeks old, right? I go back to work tomorrow. And she will not sleep on her own. She does not sleep unless she's being held. We've tried for hours, she'd start to drowse, start to get a little drowsy, lay her down. Nope, that didn't work. She just starts crying, and
no.
it's the world that I live in
formula?
right now.
Are you guys formula or are you
breastfeeding? And I think that's contributing. I think there's a sense of like warmth and that she ends up that's a comforting piece to that. So I'm just icing myself up for expecting that because my first child was good, my baby child my next child is going to be just as good. And it's not. I should have known that I got lucky and that it was probably going to swing the opposite direction. Tim Estes does not like the swing. Does not like. Here's how crazy this.
They now have
is.
them crazy egg swings that can do all types of crap too.
She does. Oh, I know. She doesn't like the swaddle. She doesn't like a pacifier. She doesn't like the swing. She doesn't like anything that you would think babies would want. The only thing that soothes her is being held. And that is problematic for our sleeping habits. We got a little bit better last night. She did pretty good. She slept on her own for about 4 hours, which was fantastic.
How many weeks are we out now?
It's 4 weeks. Thursday will be her 4-week birthday.
That's crazy.
I know.
Yeah, man.
And this is the tough time. I remember I was, I don't know if it was my first or my second kid. It might have been my second, where I was like a little bit more relaxed. Yeah, it was. It was Madeline. And we were in the hospital. You're hanging out. You have to be there for 30 hours, all this time. And the sign, they had this like poster on the wall in the room. And it was like the purple rule or some shit. I think it was something like code purple. And it was like, there's going to be moments potentially with this kid that you want to put a pillow on its face. And then like the poster basically said this, and it was just like, walk away. Like it was like, just shut the door and let the kids like it was like, because and I remember looking at that poster going like, that's kind of whack that you have to put that on a poster. But also like people get postpartum depression, and things like that, because it's like, this is miserable as shit.
They also talk about doing so there's a comedian Nate Bargatze who talks about this. He says, before we had our baby, they said the number one thing, don't shake your baby. Don't shake your baby. Like that's the number one thing. You're gonna get your baby and you're gonna want to shake your baby. Do not shake your baby.
God, it's being a parent of it's been so long. My son is now 15. So it's been so long. My youngest is 10 now. But I remember at one point, like really hating myself because it was like 4 o'clock in the morning, hadn't slept in day, and it was just like, and I screamed at one of my kids. Like it was just like, shut up. And I like looked at myself and I was like, I want to kill myself. I hate myself.
Been there.
I hate myself. You feel so bad. You're like, oh. Wait, man, at some point this is just go ahead and I won't say give up with but like you can put a bottle in that kid's mouth. Like the way to get a kid to sleep is fill their belly. Just put
Yeah, get a milk trunk.
bunch of breast milk in a bottle and be like, hey, you're gonna drink 6 ounces. Just be like, "Ugh."
She drinks so much. She projectile vomits like twice a day.
Oh man. Well, good luck to you. It'll
man.
get better. It'll get better.
Oh yeah.
Call
all
that
right.
the arm sickness, man. The arm sickness.
Yeah, man,
That's
it's a lot. They go through these phases too, because they're probably, you're right. It's like the body to body interaction with mom is like so important for them, you know, the face and anyway. So ice up to, you know what, is that never, that's why they're all different. You know, every kid is different. It's like, it's never. All right. So here's mine. And I don't really have a good one. Gotta ice up some of my stick and ice up. I don't have anything good, but I'll just take this time for our weekly. Let's talk about Joe Biden.
It's my great honor.
Can you hear
to
that?
Introduce the President of the United States, President Joe Biden.
Thank you, Secretary Buttigieg.
Oh my gosh, y'all. A year and a half more.
Thank you, Secretary Buttigieg.
Secretary Buttigieg.
Thank you, Secretary Buttigieg. Who was his real name? It's not Buddha Judge, is it?
Buddha Judge or something.
Yeah.
Secretary
We'll call him Booty Juice from now on.
Booty Juice.
That's
You give him the
great.
best- You know, Donald Trump would have done that on purpose.
Yeah, right.
And, Joe Biden did it by accident.
He doesn't even know what. He doesn't even know if he referred to the right person or not.
Just called it Booty Juice. Like, you know what is? I hope that Donald Trump heard that. And he goes, you know what?
Sure.
That's what I'm calling that dude from now on.
Talking point. Yeah, there you
Remember
go.
when Dave
It's going to be a
Chappelle-
part of every one of his rallies. Like,
Oh yeah,
Joe
And all
Biden and his
these
secretary
liberal
booty
booty
juice.
juice. You think I'm bad? It kind of reminds me of like one of my favorite pandemic Trump Dave Chappelle jokes was this guy Donald Trump came out and called it the Kung Flu. He said, "That's my joke. That's my joke." I was supposed to write that. It's like he's a funny. That's like I should have wrote that. So
Trump is a comedian.
yeah. So to Joe Biden's Secretary of Booty Juice, ice up.
There you go.
Yeah. So my ice up to. I thought I had more, but apparently I didn't save them. But I do have one, and it's a good one. I am icing up Republican City Council member Matthew Riley of Cranston, Rhode Island. Hey, maybe don't pass out in your car with crack pipe and fentanyl.
This body camera video shows City Councilman Matthew Riley passed out cold in his car Monday afternoon. After a few shakes from police,
Oh, what's up, guys?
Oh, you were literally choking in your sleep. Somebody flagged me down about it.
Oh, I have sleep apnea. I'm sorry.
Well, and then you have a crack pipe in your hands.
This afternoon, Mayor
Yeah, we're crack pipe
Oh,
in
yeah,
your
about
hands.
the Cranston Democratic Committee
I do
publicly
get sleep
calling for
apnea
Riley's
when I smoke
resignation
crack.
from City Council Ward 6.
I feel that's in the best interest of the city, his constituents. I also feel that personally, it's in his best interest for him, for his family's privacy, and for the constituents of Ward 6.
Body camera footage
They
shows
find
Riley asking if he's
fentanyl.
going to be arrested.
Are there any drugs in the car or anything like that?
No, nothing.
An apparent lie.
Nothing.
According to the police report, officers say
You know
they found
he's lying
crack
when he
laced
has
with
to
fentanyl,
look to see,
along with
like,
other drug
if he
paraphernalia. while
knew that
searching
he
his
didn't have the
car.
drugs,
I
he
think
wouldn't
there's a
have had
little
to
bit
turn
of
around and
fentanyl
look.
in there.
Yeah, all right.
Riley telling police,
It was a relapse. I claimed 13 years.
He just caught me on that one
Yeah.
time.
Really,
Like
really
a
bad news.
crack pipe and
now he's going through the judicial.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
good.
So if you're gonna do crack and fentanyl, make sure you don't do it in a parking lot.
In front of a city council meeting.
Yeah, in front of a city council meeting or some shit. So yeah, and by the way, there's like Oh, it was my sleep apnea. Sorry. My
I
sleep
always get
apnea.
sleep
got
apnea
me.
when
You
I
were
smoke
choking in
crack.
your sleep.
All right.
That's
Crack
what
helps with
somebody said is medicinal fentanyl.
crack helps
Medicinal
with my
fit.
sleep apnea.
Oh man, that's good stuff.
That's
All
funny.
right,
All
nice.
right, but yeah, I think that's it, man.
All right, that's the C3 Panthers podcast brought to you by CarolinaCatChronicles.com, where every Tuesday night we chop up latest Panthers news and opinions from the fan perspective. We'll be here throughout the week, Cody. Friday free for all, right?
Yeah, every Friday at 7 p.m. The show for Panther fans by Panther fans. You can be on the show. Yes, you listening to this just like everyone else. Come and join the StreamYard. We have a bunch of different personalities that love to come and chop up Panther football. And Tony, you were there, man. It gets spirited up on those Friday shows, man. So come hang out with us every Friday at 7 p.m. for the Friday free for all. And every Monday at 10:30, me, Desmond Johnson from Believe in Panthers, and Monty Fahey from the Four Man Rush. We do Embrace Debate every Monday at 10:30. You can find it here on the C3 Panthers podcast YouTube channel, Tobacco Sports Road Radio, and you can go on Megaphone, listen to the audio podcast there. And yeah, that's it for the boy. Find me on Twitter at Cody Lack, CODYLAC.
Greg?
Yeah, man, you can find me at the Bat Daddy 52 on Twitter is my personal handle. I really don't get on Twitter much, though. I'm not gonna lie. I've kind of separated from social media, but I still do that for the show. I get on there every once in a while, so hit me up. You can find me right now for at least 2 more weeks on the 5 on 5 podcast on the Geeks Chasing Squirrels Across the Multiverse YouTube channel. We're covering NBA playoffs, and it's going to be interesting going into the championship right now. And then Friday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube is Geeks Chasing Squirrels Across the Multiverse. We cover all kinds of social media, all kinds of pop culture, different movies, television shows, books, everything. I think right now this week I've watched the new Ant-Man movie, Quantumania, so we're going to talk about that. I've watched Dungeons and Dragons. We're going to talk about that this week. Jack Ryan's coming up, and I watched A Man Called Otto this week. And of course,
that movie's awesome, dude.
That movie is pretty good for a drama.
Dude, it's
pretty good.
so depressing.
If you cry in movies, you're going to cry in this one.
Happy too that this guy becomes nice.
We're going to talk about this
the
week.
Grouch becomes. I liked it. I thought it was cute. I mean,
there's no bad Tom Hanks movie.
I just watched what was it called? Ghosted, kind of a rom-com. Ghosted is, and it's got, I think it's the dude that played Captain America,
Chris Evans.
I think that's who it is. Ghosted, and it's got this. Is that what it is? Did you already look it up?
No, I just know that's who played Captain America. It's Chris Evans.
Ghosted movie. This was pretty cool. I thought it was fun. It was something about yeah, it is Chris Evans. So it's this. It was really neat. Like I liked it. So a rom-com, that's something to watch with your old lady there. Anybody else got a watch recommendation, CK? Anybody? I mean, if you're up while the baby's crying, what are you watching? I need something good to watch.
Missing was pretty good.
Missing?
Yeah, that was on Netflix. Also, if you're looking for a documentary, there's a missing persons series. Basically, it follows that's different from the movie, but it's also on Netflix. Basically, follows missing persons unit for a police officer or a police department as they try to find people after they've been reported missing, things like that. And that's a documentary or docuseries. So that's, and the way they do it is actually pretty cool. So that one was good, but Missing the movie is basically a movie about a young girl. Her mom goes on a vacation with her boyfriend to Brazil, I believe, and
our market.
Yeah, she's right. She doesn't come back. She goes to the airport to pick her up. She never shows up, and it's just got a bunch of plot twists and all that stuff. So. And it's sort of it's in a unique way. It's not like a camera type thing. You're like you're viewing everything that's happened through like a webcam or like screenshot or screen recordings and stuff like that. So it's one of those, but they do it really well.
All right, where can they get after you?
You can catch me on Twitter at CodizzleAllen.
Oh, hey, real quick, before we get out of here, the real AP is in the chat room. He sent me this on Twitter, and he wanted me to play it last Tuesday, and I didn't see it in time. So I'll play it now. Ice up when you come home at night, and there's a bear in your front yard.
Ooh, we need fan ice ups. I like that.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's a big bear.
Holy yeah.
Black bear in my yard. Oh my god.
Do you go grab the 12 gauge for real? Like,
I'll play it one more time.
I think I just go get a coffee.
That is a big bear.
Oh my god, there's a black bear in my yard.
They're good to eat. I mean, some people don't like to eat them. They're good.
Oh, you know what they say,
if I
though?
kill it, I'm gonna eat it. But
Dude, you know what they say, that out of all the bears to worry about, black bears are the worst. They say that grizzly bears, they'll actually run away from you. They're saying that if you just find a black bear will fuck you up.
That's
bro.
not true.
Well, and that's kind of my thing too.
Black bears kill more people.
I've been close
more
to a black
human
bear
than
before.
every other type of bear.
I thought the grizzly was like the apex predator of the earth.
Yeah, but they're not as
cooler. Yeah,
they're not as aggressive toward people.
I thought they were the ones that like hunted people.
I don't know.
I don't think this is right.
I know if I see a bear, if I want to give him a 12
I'm gonna
gauge.
research this. I'm gonna research this. All right. All right, that's the C3 Panthers podcast. Let's get out of here, Cody.
All right, Panther fans. Until next time, you already know what we're gonna do. Keep pounding.